All right, we're back. Friday, August 16th, 2019. Let's go over yesterday's games, and then we'll get to today's games. So, baseball. Mariners did beat the Tigers. Seemed most likely the Tigers picked up their 82nd loss. Seattle's 82, their 43rd home loss. Mariners is 43. It's the Mariners' 43rd season. And as we talked about, if the Mariners stayed on 72 losses and 36 away losses, they'd head into Toronto with those numbers. Toronto equals 72 and 36. The Marlins looked good to upset the Dodgers yesterday. You had the riddles with both sides with the pitchers. Talked about Buehler becoming 10-3 like 103, the 27th prime, Miami 27. Caleb Smith becoming 8-6, Marlins 86, so both pitchers did get the decision. Two men with the same birthday. And the Dodgers also got their 26th away loss on the 26 date numerology. The Indians put it on the Yankees. There wasn't a lot to go off of in this game. Looking at the starting pitchers, Plutko, had he lost, he would have become 4-4. That was a big number with the Yankees the day prior. Chad Green did get credited with the loss. He got smashed in the first inning. So, leading the wrong way on that one, but wasn't much information to go off of. The Cubs and Phillies game, let's talk about this game actually in detail. We talked about the possibility of Bryce Harper getting hot, the Phillies making a surge. We've been talking about, Phillies potentially being a World Series team all year. This could be the narrative, so just want to go over these documentations. We'll talk about the walk-off grand slam, this article, which just makes me wonder, and this also right here. Okay, so Harper last night, ESPN's front page, more Bryce Harper moments would be great for baseball. Harper hit a walk-off grand slam last night, his first since May 13th, 2017, back when he played against the Phillies. That's not an accident. But they emphasize that Bryce Harper moments, which equals 97 like Philadelphia. I have to go back to my notes. I know there was some ritual 97 days before the World Series with Philadelphia that we talked about. Notice the Phillies came back and won at 5-7, those World Series numbers. The day prior, you had the Philadelphia shooting. We talked about how that shooting was 69 days before the start of the World Series, and the shooter's name was Maurice Hill, 57 and 69, just like World Series. And you get the 5-7 game. Or from the Phillies' perspective, 7-5 after adding the 75-year-old Charlie Manuel as the hitting coach. Don't forget the day prior they won 11-1, and the shooter's name was Maurice Hill, 111, that big New York number. Since early in the season, we've been talking about the possibility of the Yankees and Phillies meeting in the World Series. The walk-off home run was the 34th at bat. The 34th at bat, walk-off 34. We just saw this with the Indians earlier in the week. Come back to that. Notice from Bryce Harper's upcoming birthday to the walk-off was a span of 63 days. Major League 63, Major League Baseball 63, Cubs is 63. The Phillies picked up their 63rd win with his walk-off. And also, in light of the score being 7-5. They just got the 75-year-old new hitting coach, Charlie Manuel, and hitting coach is also 63 in both reduction ciphers. So, and in light of it being the 34th at bat, remember it comes the day after the shootout in Philadelphia, which was August 14th, 2019, a date with 34 numerology, walk-off 34, shootout 34. The Grand Slam was on a date with 35 numerology, Grand Slam 35. And the walk-off was actually on the Cubs' 139th pitch of the game, which is the 34th prime number. And again, the shootout was on the day, leaving 139 days left in the year. So, since the Phillies hired Charlie Manuel, which was August 13th, they're 3-0. They won 3 straight with the new hitting coach. They also hired a new pitching coach that day. The hitting coach is getting the attention. But Yesterday, the Grand Slam was 223 days after Charlie Manuel's birthday. Philadelphia 223. The day prior, the shootout day, was his 223rd day of his age. So, here's their scores over the Cubs since they picked up Charlie Manuel. 4-2, 11-1, 7-5. And this was an article written after they won 11-1 by the local NBC Philadelphia outlet. If they can do it 42 more times, they write. And in light of it being Bryce Harper's first walk-off Grand Slam, I believe it's walk-off Grand Slam. Could have been walk-off home run. One of the two. First walk-off since May 13th, 2017. What, did I not link that? Well, I forgot to link that Bryce Harper, we talked about this earlier in the year. When Bryce Harper signed with the Phillies, it was 135 days from his birthday. And remember, that's a huge number with Philadelphia, 135. Philadelphia was established on a date with 135 numerology. So he signed February 28th. And again, his birthday is October 16th, so 135 days. Philadelphia established on a date with 135 numerology. Philadelphia in the Bible is written about in regards to the key of David, which equals 135. Always just a big number that we track with Philadelphia sports, 135. So Bryce Harper, his last walk-off, either home run or grand slam, it was May 13th, 13/5. He did that against the Phillies. And now in another big Philadelphia ritual, he does it again. And actually, I want to see how many days it was from his signing to this this moment as well. So we signed February 28th to August 15th. 168 days. New York City's 168. Just thinking about that. Okay. But yeah, and don't forget Bryce Harper, his full name, Bryce Aaron Max Harper, the way he spells it's 101 like Philadelphia. So funny that this is what we've been talking about. All it's going to take for the Phillies is Bryce Harper to get hot, so maybe he's saving it all for the end of the season. 2 big nights in a row. And again, Phillies picked up that 63rd win. Giants 63 ritual with Harper. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, man.
So I just want to make some quick points about the Phillies game. What was it about 316? You said they was behind, trailing 5 runs going into the ninth inning. They lost 316 games straight.
Yeah,
so
I saw that. I saw that stat on ESPN last night. I meant to bring that up. So they pointed out that the Phillies, when trailing by 5 or more runs going into the ninth, had lost 316 straight games in that situation. So a biblical number, John 3:16 about Jesus. Jesus Christ in Hebrew equals 3:16, but and again, Revelation from the Bible is about the return of Jesus. Jesus equals 61, Philadelphia 61, Church 61, Bryce Harper 61, all this after the shooting on the 61 date numerology. So.
I got one more question. Bryce Harper's birthday is May 13th.
His birthday is October 16th, right?
What was something? Oh, his last Grand Slam was May 13th, 2017. That's what it was, right?
His last walk-off, either home run or grand slam. I think it was a grand slam.
Didn't they say the date, May 13th, 2017 or something?
Yeah, they did.
Something.
You know what? That date had 35 numerology as well, and grand slam equals 35, just like how yesterday had 35 date numerology too.
There's one more thing I want to connect. In 1985, it was a shooting in Philadelphia, a big shooting in Philadelphia, May 13, 1985.
Really? Well, I know why it happened that day in Philadelphia. Huh.
Why May 13, 1985?
Well, like I was just saying, 135 is a huge number in Philadelphia. May 13th is 13/5.
Yeah, so I think that shooting from 85 is connected with that standoff that they had the other day.
It says this is the day Philadelphia bombed its own people.
Yes.
Okay, I gotta look up this story. I didn't know about it.
Okay, I just want to hit you with the 316 and the May 13, 1985, because I think that's connected too.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, appreciate it, man.
All right.
All right, take care.
All right.
All right, I gotta remember this story right here. But 135, always big with Philadelphia. All right, I'll come back and look at that. Somebody texted me that when Harper hit the Grand Slam, they said they flipped the script. So, but yeah, all sorts of biblical numbers there, and we've been talking about Bryce Harper signing since the beginning. Don't forget Philadelphia equals 115, and Gabe Kapler's full name, the manager of the Phillies, his name's 115. So. The narrative's still alive. All right, the Cardinals and the Reds. We talked about how the Cardinals pitcher, if he got the loss, he would be 6-6. Cincinnati 66. That 6-6 plays hard in Cincinnati. He did. Caller?
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, man.
Hey, it was funny, man. Last night before the big bomb, I don't know what inning it was, in the later innings. John Crook, the former Philly, the guy that does the telecast for, he had this new hat on, Philly's hat, and it had the on the middle, but it was a different color. So they're debating or what color of the hat.
Hey, your call's breaking up. Every other word's dropping out.
Is that better?
That sounded better.
You there?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
I have a hard time getting you now.
Yeah, if you just want to start over about the hat, something about John Crook with a new hat.
Call back, see if it's better, man.
I hear you. All right, he'll call back. Maybe he couldn't hear me. But okay. All right, here we go. Caller?
Yeah, that's better, huh?
That's better.
So, yeah, man, what was funny is the last night's game, right?
Right.
Like, it was in the later innings. And John Crook put this new Phillies hat on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Now you're good. New Phillies hat.
Cool. And they were debating, like, with each other, like, oh, yeah, what's the color of the hat? Well, I think it's like a dark blue. No, it's black. Well, they'll text me in a few minutes to let me know what it is. Well, of course, it lines up with Bryce Harper in Philadelphia. They come back and say that the color of this new hat is midnight blue, or midnight navy.
Huh.
And then the small way, frontwards and backwards, midnight navy has identical gematria with Philadelphia and Bryce Harper.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
It's just so funny, man.
Oh, whoops.
And I'm watching this, and I'm like, are they really going to do this? And sure enough, they did. But it just looks so fake, man. It looks like they're using some type of different, like, magic ball or something. Like the foul balls before he hit it. It just didn't look organic at all, man.
Well, I saw the highlight, and it didn't look like he got the best cut on the ball, honestly, but it went way out of there. So, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like...
It just makes me wonder what they're doing, because it's just something didn't look right about it,
Right.
Like, what kind of technology are they using? But it's just what a complete joke.
Indeed, and that comes right after the shooting that went until midnight as well, so...
Yeah, I liked how you connected to 316. I saw that this morning.
Yeah, I saw that on ESPN. ESPN put that up. 316. So.
Yeah, they just put it right in your face, man.
People won't connect it though because they don't get it.
Oh, but it just tells you what a complete joke all this shit is, man.
And again, people always like. I have this guy who's calling me like every day from an unknown number, and he's just. I gotta stop picking up the phone, but he's just like, dude, these games are not scripted. It's not the Masons. I'm a Blue Lodger, and it's just like, there's no way all this could be perfect like this every day if it wasn't.
Really, I mean, it's like the Bengals thing. You guys were talking about '96 and how, you know, it lined up with the Super Bowl with Andy Dalton in 96 days from his birthday, and he throws a pick for 96 yards.
Right, and that was ESPN's highlight last night from the football, the 96-yard pick six. Exactly, that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, and it's like this. It's been like this every day for us for 6 years, just talking about these things and then looking at the highlights.
I mean, you barely research this, study, and you see this is how it all has to be. It has to be that way for them to do it this way.
Right.
This is the only way it can be.
Right. Right.
So.
Yeah.
Well, man, we'll see if they keep this going. But we knew it's all surrounding Harper. Hey, the other thing I wanted to bring up too is, here's the other thing is, like, do people even listen to you sometimes? Because you were talking about yesterday how this whole narrative, the scripting has changed. Is like you have no real good closers, right? None of the closers can come in and finish these teams off. Like the same pattern again, right after you talked about it in the broadcast yesterday. What happens? The same thing in this Phillies. They blow a 5-1. They score 6 runs. The Phillies in the last inning, and you know, in a couple innings before they took out the starter, they took that Asian guy out. He pitched real good, but they had that guy that blew the game. You know, they're showing him like they're getting him. Oh, he's getting loose. You know, the bullpen's warming up. They already knew what was going to happen.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, when I grew up watching baseball, I'm from Cincinnati, so they had the Nasty Boys. Remember the Nasty Boys?
I think that was before my time. I don't remember.
Yeah, man, but every time those dudes came in, there was 3 of them. They never lost. They're like, when the Nasty Boys if the Reds were up going into the, 7th inning, it was over. Right. It was over, you know?
Right.
So it's just like, it's hilarious that people can't pick up on this stuff.
Did you hear what I said about how it was the 139th pitch of the game, which is the 34th prime, and it was the 34th at bat, and walk-off is 34?
I heard the 34. I didn't realize it was the 139th pitch.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are they doing? They have to be using some type of technology to do that, and it's not that sophisticated. So it's obvious, man, that that's what they're doing. Like, some of the balls just don't look right when they foul tip it or whatever. Something looks off there. Something doesn't look right about it.
It honestly didn't look like Harper hit the ball that well last night, but it went out, so.
I thought it was foul, man. I'm like, look, and then they're just like, oh, it's gone. It's like, where'd the ball even go?
Right.
And the second deck, come on, man. What a joke.
Yeah.
What a fraud it all is, man.
It is.
So. All right, guy. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your day, man.
All right, appreciate it. Take care.
See you later. Bye-bye.
But yeah, I mean, when you pay attention to baseball and actually look at the box scores and the things that happen, I mean, twice this week we've talked about walk-offs on the 34th at bat already. I think it was 2 days before this with the Indians game. But I mean, we could analyze the box scores very thoroughly every single day if we wanted to, but this is the way it is if you just pay attention. I mean, these aren't exceptions to the rule. This is the norm. These games are perfectly scripted. So, anyhow, the picks were pretty good yesterday. The big upset came through, so I think a lot of people won here on this one. That was a nice one. The Reds, again, did give that pitcher the 6-6 record. We know that Cincinnati in 66 plays hard. Some of you might have taken that. We saw that pitcher who could fall to 6-6 had a dominant history against the Reds, though. He was 12-1 for his career, and I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher with that good of a record against any team. But 6-6, he's now 12-2, so... The Mets looked good to beat the Braves yesterday. Braves picked up the 26th loss. We talked about how the pitcher for New York, Stroman, who just came up from Toronto, could get his 48th career win. Atlanta, 48, he did. We talked about how Teheran could fall to 7-8. New York, 78, that happened. So you had pitcher riddles on both sides, plus the date numerology. That looked good. The Twins beat the Rangers yesterday, and honestly, I can't remember what it was about this game. Was there anything? Let me see. Date numerology yesterday was 26, 35, 62. Rangers stayed on 35 home wins. I see that. Is there anything with the pitchers yesterday in this game? Oh yeah, Pineda could improve to 8-5. That was the one that was right on the surface. Twins 85, and I'm sure he did. Yeah, Pineda 8-5. The concern was looking deeper that if he lost, he'd be 47-47 for his career, and Arlington's 47 where the Rangers play at. We talked about how Payano could fall to 1-2 because Rangers is 37, the 12th prime, 1-2 like 12. So again, what we've been doing for August is just keeping it more surface level, not stressing out so much about all the details, and we've been doing really well. And I'm starting to think I started to overanalyze too much in baseball. I started to do that when we got in that weird part of the season where nothing was coming through. But usually, I mean, that's how it is. It's usually surface level stuff. It's usually, pitcher record, team home win-loss record, date numerology. Giants and D-backs. What was it for this game? Is there anything there? I don't know if we had anything for this one. Oh, actually, that's what could have happened. The Giants could have got their 60-second loss yesterday, and the Diamondbacks could have got their 60-second win. But like I was saying, even though it lines up on both sides, that's the date numerology path I'm not real crazy about. And that's exactly why right there. If the Diamondbacks had won 2 in a row, they could have got to 9-6 versus the Giants, so that's out the window now. So that was that. The Angels, they had a chance to give the White Sox their 35th away loss on the 35 date numerology. They did. And the Athletics, if they were going to beat the Astros, we talked about why yesterday was the day to do it. Keep the Astros at 35 wins on the 35 dates. And that pitcher, I remember that pitcher for the Astros, if he lost, Aaron Sanchez, he could become 34-34. Athletics is 34 in the most pure cipher. Whoops. And Fears had a chance to stay on 58 career losses in Oakland 58, but the date numerology was kind of there. Pitcher riddle made a bit of sense. So we leaned the right way on most games. The games that we did like, Mets over Braves, Marlins over Dodgers, they came through. So another pretty good day. So we'll keep it going. And in the NFL yesterday, some things that we were keeping an eye on. It hasn't updated yet. It won't update till after the week, but we were just keeping an eye on the preseason coaching records. And, whoops, not week 2. I went to the wrong thing. Okay, so like we saw that the Jets coach, Adam Gase, who's in his first year with the Jets, if he won last night, he would be 6-8. And we know how nice or how big that number is with Darnold, his young star quarterback. Darnold, 68. Last week, he went right down the field, 68-yard drive, touchdown to the receiver with the 68 Gematria. So now he's 6-8. And I saw them talking up Darnold's nice passes last night. That he made some big throws. So again, I think the Jets are going to be a force in the AFC East this year. Probably a playoff team. The Ravens coach, we talked about how Harbaugh and Gruden yesterday, if they both won, they'd both pick up their 35th preseason wins all time, and it was 35 date numerology. And again, I've never evaluated preseason games, so just things we were looking for. So both of them did pick up their 35th win. I think they have the most wins out of all active coaches in the preseason. They both coached a long time. So that did happen. Both of those coaches got the 35. And we can do some more analysis later after the preseason week's up. I'll see if anything else screamed out. But I was just watching the coaching records, see if those numbers, those observations we made would come through. And for yesterday, teams with 54 connections, Jets won. Redskins lost. Redskins got a 54 connection. So I guess they were 1-1 yesterday. So far, teams with a 54 connection have a losing record. Last week, the 54 teams were 2 wins, 3 losses. Right now, they're 1-1, so they're 3-4. Just going to continue to watch and see what happens with that. I would have spent more time analyzing last night, but I was dealing with a weird home issue. The home fire alarm system was going off last night, and I could not get the system to stop or reset. It was like a 2-hour fiasco of dealing with an alarm error issue. So anyway, last night could have been a lot more fun. Imagine your fire alarm blaring for 2 hours and you can't get it to stop. But finally it did. Started like at 8:30 p.m. around there. Okay. Let's get to today's games. Oh, we can also talk about the golf tournament real quick. I think it's probably already underway today. But Justin Thomas was at the top yesterday. Let's see if they already started today. Oh, they've already started it. So Thomas, he's fallen down a stroke. But Thomas is one of those guys who had the connection. He had the connection to the name and the course. And let me just pull that up here. Thomas. So Justin Thomas, 74. Again, the name of the course is 74. The name of the tournament, 74. 74, 169. The tournament's also 169. And then Justin Thomas had the BMW connection. So he was the day one leader. And Tiger had a decent day. He shot 1 under. So I believe the leader was, what was he, 7 under yesterday? So Thomas was 7 under. So after day 1, Tiger was 6 strokes back. See what Tiger does in this tournament. But Kokrak, who was second, we talked about how the tournament began on his 86th day of his age. The name of the tournament's also 86. Furyk had the Bavarian Motorworks connection. Not much else. Old timer playing well. And that Dahman had the same 86 connection BMW championship, similar to Kokrak. So, anyway, I updated the day 1 leaderboard, but it was BMW championship guys and also people with the connection to the course, so no surprises. So I think things will finish about where we expect. Not any really big surprises after day 1. Actually, let me check out Tway again. Did he have something going on? He's one of the long shots. Yeah, Tway, why is he up there? I was going to say, I don't remember what it was for Tway. 130, he's got the 113 connection. Well, you know what K Tway has? 80, like Bavarian Illuminati. And we were just wondering if the Bavarian Illuminati things might matter. So that's what he's got. 80, his scorecard name. Because again, it's Bavarian Motorworks, Bavarian Illuminati. It ends 18/8. Bavarian Illuminati's 188. So that's what it is for Kevin Tway. All right, let me just update that in case he stays up there today. That was the one thing I wasn't. We saw Adam Scott the other year had the Bavarian Illuminati connection. Koepka's 139 too, like the Bavarian Illuminati, now that I think about it. So maybe that's going to matter. All right, let me add that. K Tway equals 80. Bavarian Illuminati equals 80. Last year there was the death of Kofi Annan, I think on August 18th at age 80. Okay. Okie dokie. All right, let's go through baseball. See if we can pick out some more good ones today. And I think I got everything up here I want. Before we get into today's games, let's just analyze the date numerology yesterday one more time. Make sure we're still good. Dodgers could pick up the 26th away loss. They did. Phillies, they could stay. Staying's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for pickups. Braves had a chance to pick up their 26th home loss. They did. The pitcher riddles also made sense in that game. Oakland can stay on 26 losses versus AL West. Again, it's not really about staying, but Oakland did stay. They beat the Athletics. Or, they beat the Astros, I mean. That Astros pitcher made sense with the loss. But the two that could get picked up yesterday in the 26 was the Dodgers' big upset and the Braves. So the 26s and the pickups were 2 for 2. Braves did have a chance at their 35th home win yesterday, but they had a chance at the 26th loss as well. And the pitchers made sense with the 26th loss. That's why we went that way. Rangers could stay. They did stay on the 35. White Sox can pick up 35th away loss. They did. Astros stayed on 35 away wins. So the only thing that didn't happen in the 35 was the Braves, but they had a different date numerology reason. So the stronger riddle there played out. And then the 60 path, not the least important by far. Phillies didn't stay. Mets did pick up the 62nd win, but they had other things going besides that 62. And the Giants and D-backs, their game didn't pan out. They had the 62 on both sides, but it wasn't that way. I even documented the lesser date numerology yesterday. Dodgers did pick up the 42nd loss on the lesser 42 date. So date numerology was good again yesterday. So it does seem that we've gotten into the stretch where date numerology is good. In more than a week's period, there's only been one bad date numerology day. There was a perfect day in there. So there's been a lot of good days. And had it been like this all year, which is typically how sports was for all the years that I documented this, I mean, there wouldn't have been any low points in this season. So when the date numerology is flowing, that's when you can do exceptionally well. Okay, so today's games, date numerology. There are some games where teams can stay. Again, staying's not what you want. You want the ones where you can pick up. The Phillies do have a chance at their 27th home loss today. Padres is 27. We'll look at that more, though. I just wonder about the Phillies right now because they could be on some sort of, they could be on something that trumps all these type of riddles. They could be going on a big win streak after the shooting type of thing, winning 10 straight for Charlie Manuel or something like that. So that's what you got to think about, too, when you have a sports and a news story like we had with the Philadelphia shooting and then what's happened since. But there is reasonably the Phillies could go down. If the Phillies only won one in this series here, this 3-game series, they'd be at 38 home wins. San Diego's 38. But I'm having trouble thinking that that's going to happen with the momentum right now. What's up, man?
Hey, so how about those Marlins yesterday?
Yeah,
I know you called it a dangerous game.
Huh?
I know you called it a dangerous game.
Well, that's not what I said. I said I liked the Marlins yesterday. The pitcher riddles were there and the date numerology, and the date numerology is good. But, I mean, I was just commenting on your remark because you said...
Well, that was just a sarcastic remark.
Well, you said if it didn't come through, you were going to be done. And I was like, well, I wouldn't do that with the Marlins-Dodgers game just because they break riddles. But
it's like when people say, if this doesn't work, I'll eat my hat kind of thing. Which was ironic because someone had replied to the Marlins Twitter account saying it's working out exactly as predicted. And you notice it's 7 runs to 13 and 7 hits to 13, which was perfectly synced up with Skaggs. Skaggs was born July 13th, and they got the 45th win. Skaggs wore number 45. And last night the Angels won as well. And at the end of the Angels game, the announcers were talking about Giolito being friends with Skaggs, who's tomorrow's pitcher.
Here, hold on. 1 second. 1 second real quick. Hello? Yeah. I will call you right back. Sorry. All right. Sorry about that, Mark. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, it was a Skaggs tribute yesterday with the Dodgers.
Okay. Did he have a connection to the Marlins?
Well, it's because of the 45 and the 7-13. And then it perfectly synced up with 13 equals 45. That's why they had the guy go 13-13 in terms of his career, and then show the 13 runs, 13 hits for Miami getting 45, Miami 45.
Okay.
And so it was just perfectly synced up. Plus, if you look at the Indians game, that was also synced up with the blackout.
Okay.
I'll pull up the notes for it. But that one, it was basically more confirmation probably that what we're going to see in the World Series is probably not going to be the Phillies. It's going to be the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that there's a strong narrative for that, but the Phillies Yankees narrative's been there all year. So,
I'm pulling up the note for it. So the blackout. Oh, let's see. Well, I'll have to find out the note. I don't want to.
It was July 13th is the day it happened.
But there was like some additional notes I had from last night regarding it. Here we go. Okay, so this is from Auspicious. He's like one of the guys in the Discord. So both the Yankees and Dodgers got the 42nd loss yesterday. So now their records have both synced up, 81-42.
Right, yeah.
And 42 years ago, the Yankees beat the Dodgers 4-2 in World Series, 74. Right. We had the blackout in 7-13, the 42 anniversary of the 77 New York blackout.
Right.
The blackout was 108 days before World Series Game 6. Thinking it goes to only 6 games. It was 3 months, 9 days before World Series Game 1. New York equals 39. Dodgers could fall to 3-9 versus the Yankees in the World Series. Yesterday was 1 month, 3 days, 4 weeks, 5 days, or 33 days after the blackout. Yankees are 37-29 versus the Dodgers in the World Series. Yankees could win the World Series with head-to-head win 41. And their next World Series will be their 41st, 41 the 13th prime.
Right.
Which ties into why we saw all 13 yesterday.
Right.
Yankees also beat the Dodgers 4-2 41 years ago in 78. Game 6 is on 78 numerology, 10 plus 29 plus 20 plus 19. New York equals 78 reverse. 78 is the 12th triangular. And this could be the 12th head-to-head World Series. And it was 45 weeks after Plutko's, or his number 45 birthday, and he got career win number 9. It was also the Jesuit formation date, and Chad Green got the L, so he fell to 1811 in his career in Society of Jesus equals 1811 in Jewish.
Okay.
So it was definitely, I mean, yeah, there was, it was pretty nuts. Plus, the other thing, too, I think I mentioned Chad Green, he was on 61 strikeouts coming into the game, and he only got 1. So he stayed on 62 on the 62-day numerology. So that was kind of interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, it was, there was definitely a deeper level to those 2 games. I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay.
I'll let you get back to it.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay. So yeah, there's definitely still a narrative for a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. Again, it's the Yankees' 117th season too, and Dodgers is 117. So mostly heard things that I've already shared, but the Phillies and Yankees narrative is definitely not out. So we just saw that 11-1 ritual with the Phillies winning and the shooter 11-1, and it synced up with the World Series. And that year, the last time the Phillies and Yankees met in the World Series, 10 years ago, the Phillies beat the Dodgers in the NLCS. So could happen again. All right, and this time I'm going to try to do the presentation. If you guys call in, maybe call in at the end, because when I keep taking the calls, I lose my focus. And I do like the last caller, but he's always really long-winded, and he's bringing up like rules of COL, and I'm just like, why are we using rules of COL? If you guys are listening when he calls in and he says that, rule of COL means that like if a word equals 25, you can pretend it equals 24 or 26 as well. I mean, if you start doing that, it's like, well, God, how are you going to make any clear decision in baseball? I mean, so anyway. let's just stick to what we're doing. We've been successful. Overanalyzing's been a big problem, and see if we can find some more good ones here. And by the way, him calling in and saying about that, I even said that I like the Marlins to beat the Dodgers before he even called in yesterday. So, anyway. I know he liked the Phillies yesterday. I was saying, or not the Phillies, he liked the Cubs yesterday. I was saying, I wouldn't do that with the Phillies-Cubs narrative going on right now. Again, you got to think about what's taking place. So, all right, so teams that can pick up the number. Phillies could pick up the 27th home loss. We're going to look more at that, though, because, again, they could be on a separate storyline right now. Dodgers have a chance to get upset again. Dodgers. Somebody left a comment yesterday and said they don't like the new way that I'm writing down the notes. Well, I'm just keeping everything grouped together so that you can go through and look at all the 27 games together. So, I mean, it's not that much extra work. I'm just trying to be real organized so it's easy to track what's hitting and what's not. But the Dodgers, they can pick up the 27th away loss today. The Braves also can as well. So the 27 could go either way. Maeda, though, if he lost, he'd be 8-9, and Atlanta Braves is 89. So, thinking that Dodgers might be in for a little bit of a cooling. It is the lesser date numerology of 43 as well. Dodgers could get that 43rd loss. Yesterday they picked up the 42. So we'll look more at that one. Okay. Let me see. What other one is there? Oakland, today if they lost, they would get their 27th loss versus the AL West. That's against the Astros, but we're going to have to look at that more too, because if Verlander lost, he'd be 15-5, and Oakland Athletics is 155. And Verlander's record, almost every game this year where his record could sync up with the Gematria of the team, it's gone that way. The most recent game I remember was the the Angels game. He became 10-4 against the Angels. That was his last loss. Angels is 104, but there were other ones earlier in the season, so 15-5, maybe. We'll look more at that. Pittsburgh, their game, they can get their 36th loss in the NL West today on the 36th day. And there's a bunch of teams that can stay, but we're focused more on the teams that can pick it up. All right, let's see. The Rangers have a shot at their 36th home win today. That's against the Twins. Rangers could get 36. And what's interesting is if the Rangers went on a streak against the Twins, they got 36 today, they'd have a chance at 37 tomorrow. They'd have a chance at 38 on Sunday. Minnesota is 38. They'd have to win 3 straight to do it. But in light of how patterns break on Sunday, if it went something like that, if the Rangers won today and tomorrow following the date numerology, Rangers equals 37, getting their 37th home win on the 37 day. Have to consider on Sunday that the Twins might break the pattern to get to 74 wins because Texas Rangers is 74. So Mike Minor, if he won today, he'd be 12-6. Globe Life Park in Arlington's 126. Okay, let's see. The only 63 that can be picked up is the Mets. They can get their 63rd win. The reflection at 36. Royals is 36. I don't think Royals is 63. Let me double check that, though. just 36. The Mets could get their 63rd win, but there's some conflict with the pitcher, which we'll get to. So anyway, date numerology has been consistent. I would lead with that in the games you pick out today. This first game here on the schedule, I want to see if there's anything in Tanaka's record, his splits with Cleveland, that are a big clue. He's 72-40 for his career. Neither of those numbers go with Cleveland or Indians. So we'll have to see what he is all time. Where's the splits? See what he is all time against Cleveland. Cleveland. He's 1-2 against Cleveland. 4.25 ERA. And what about Yankee Stadium? He's 40-19 at Yankee Stadium. Those numbers don't go with the Cleveland Indians either. If you're not forgetting something. Cleveland Indians. All right, let's think about who he pitches against next then. One, two, three, four, five. The Athletics he faces next in Oakland. So if he splits his next two decisions, he'll be 9-7. Facing Oakland, we know about Oakland in 97. Still doesn't tell us if he'll win or lose today, but we should have a big clue in his next matchup. The Yankees' next home win is 48. Cleveland's 48. I would think the Yankees would win more than one out of their next three, but Indians are a pretty formidable team. See if anything else jumps out about their numbers. Well, there's a chance the Yankees could just win. They got beat good yesterday. And this Savell guy doesn't have much history to go off of, so he's tough. Yeah. Let me see how many days it is from Tanaka's birthday. His birthday is November 1st, Tanaka. The big New York number. Today's 16/8, like 168. I think, actually, does Cleveland, Ohio? Maybe it's Cleveland Cavaliers I'm thinking of. Cleveland Cavaliers is 168. Like New York City's 168. Okay, so today's 16/8. But, 288 days after his birthday, 41 weeks and 1 day, and 77 days to his upcoming birthday. Yankee Stadium 77. Span is 78 days. New York 78. It's also 2 months and 16 days, like the Cleveland area code, huh? Let's see. There's got to be some clue here for this game. June 12th. Okay. Oops. 65 days, New York Yankees 65. What they play next? Athletics. And that was in Oakland. I feel like there's some clue here that I'm just not seeing. Oakland, 41. Tanaka 1, he'd be 9-6. NYC 42. His name's got the 42 connection. The divisors of 42 are 96. Yeah, there's nothing definitive for this game, but should have a big clue for Tanaka's next start against Oakland. We know 97 hits with Oakland again and again. All right, the Brewers and Nationals game. What stands out about this one is if Hauser loses, he's 5-6. Washington D.C.'s 56, and if Corbin wins, he's 10-5. Nationals is 105. Brewers would stay on 27 away wins and 63 total wins. That's the date numerology. If the Nationals could win 3 in a row, they could get to 37 home wins. Milwaukee's 37. If they won 2 out of 3, they'd get to 36. Brewers is 36. So I imagine they win at least 2 out of 3. And starting this game off with a win would help in that cause. Let me look a little bit more at their stats. Has he faced Washington before? Okay. All right. Corbin's 65-59 for his career. Those numbers don't go with the Brewers. Let's see what his splits are against the Brewers. 2-5 versus the Brewers. 5.18 ERA. What's the name of their stadium? Nationals Park. Where's the park? Huh, doesn't pull it up that way? Alright, hold on. I'm looking for his record at home. He's 6-1 at home. So he pitches well at home, 6-1. Well, I do like how the Washington, D.C. thing can play out. We've seen plenty of 56 in Nationals games. And I like the 10-5 as well. Nationals 105. We can look at who they face next for a little bit more information. One, two, three, four, 5. He faces the Cardinals next. And that won't matter. If the Brewers did get swept, they'd go into that Cardinals series on 63 wins, and Cardinals is 63. If the Nationals won 3 in a row here, which is possible, and I think St. Louis Cardinals is 61 too, actually. They would go in with a record that's just like the Cardinals. Yeah, St. Louis Cardinals 61. So they'd be 63-61 if they... And by the way, Washington, D.C. is also 61. So there's a chance here the Nationals sweep this series. I'd say they win at least 2 out of 3. But yeah, that would make some sense. Let me add that to the team notes here. If Brewers got swept, they would go into St. Louis series 63 and 61. Cardinals is 63. St. Louis Cardinals is 61. Washington, D.C. is also 61. And I'll make a separate note. If Nats won 2 out of 3, they would have 36 wins. Brewers is 36. If they won all... Whoops, that's 36 home wins. If they won all 3, they would have 37. Milwaukee's 37. Okay. But yeah, I like that the pitcher riddles make sense on both sides here in that game. And just looking down the road, too, at the possibility of the Brewers getting swept, at least losing 2 out of 3. Okay. The Cubs and the Pirates. Again, the Pirates have their division record going against them. The Pirates today could get their 36th loss in the NL Central on the 36 date numerology. And wasn't there one other thing about the 27? Maybe the Cubs. Well, I guess I can just look here. Cubs are on 27 NL Central wins. That's the one thing that could go against the Cubs is just staying on the 27, but picking up the numbers more likely. If Hendricks won, he'd be 9-9. We know Cubs is 9. We know Wrigley's 99. Illinois is 99. So 9's very central to the Cubs name. So a 9-9 record for a Cubs pitcher. Some symbolism in that. That said, Joe Musgrove could get his 9th win of the season and become 9-11. We've seen those numbers before. But the date numerology, I would say, goes against the Pirates. The fact that they can get that 36th loss today on the 36th date numerology in the NL Central. And Hendricks, he's 60 and 42. Pirates does have the Gematria of 43. 60 and 42. Okay. Let's look at his splits first, the Pirates. He's 4-6 versus the Pirates. Ooh, if he lost, he'd be 4-7. Pirates is 47, so that actually makes that difference. Okay. All right, let's look at Musgrove. The fact that he can fall to 4-7, that is concerning. Let's see here. Musgrove's 25 and 32. 14 and 20. He's 2-2 versus the Cubs with a 1.23 ERA. This game is in Pittsburgh. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Doing the Decode. What's going on?
Got some pretty good news. Trout, he hit his 40th home run, and also Cody Bellinger hit his 40th home run. The first time it happened, they hit 40 home runs at the same date.
Bellinger and Trout.
And the National League.
The two Los Angeles Stars, okay.
Mm-hmm. So we got 40-40. Also, news came out. Jay-Z, he's the owner of a sports lounge. He came out yesterday. Of a sports shop called the 40-40 Club. 40-40. Jay-Z. So now with Jay-Z, he announced yesterday that he had a partnership with the NFL. And not too long ago, about 3 years ago, he was a big supporter of Colin Kaepernick. So, actually, the NFL asked Jay-Z to perform on the halftime show of the Super Bowl, and he rejected that. And now they're buddy-buddy and made a contract. So capitalism at its work. So it just shows sometimes the things they say doesn't really mean anything. So,
Right.
3 years ago, he slaps the face, makes that comment, they don't need us. Rapper and mogul Sean Z summarized his now infamous rejection of the Super Bowl halftime show. I say no to the Super Bowl. You need me. I don't need you. Apparently, that's not the case. I need you. I need your money, NFL. So, that's all I got.
All right. Appreciate it, Izzy. Good observation. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, 40 and 40 in LA. I'm just trying to think why they would do that. I know 40 equals 84 when you write it out. 30, 51, 24. Well, Los Angeles has that 89 connection, the 24th prime. There's got to be something more to that, though. Okay, so Musgrove, not only can he become 9 and 11 on the season, he can also become 9 and 11 at PNC Park in his pitching career, which is interesting. Again, Cubs is 9. Let me see what Hendricks' record is at PNC. He's 2-2 at PNC with a 3.34 ERA, so that's not clear. If he lost, he'd be 2-3, kind of like 23, the 9th prime. Cubs is 9. Yeah, the Pirates got the date numerology going against them. That one's tough. It's possible that Hendricks would get a no decision. Because that 9-9 record would make a lot of sense for a Cubs pitcher. Let's see who he faces next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's at home against the Giants next. Giants. How many career wins did he have? 60. Yeah, it's tough. All right, let's keep looking. I think there's better games. All right, so Padres at Phillies. Today the Phillies have the date numerology going against them. They could get that 27th home loss, 27 date numerology. Padres equals 27. Big baseball number. If Philadelphia didn't win today has 63 date numerology, they'd stay on the 63 as well. Maybe they'd pick up 64 and 65 on those dates because Philadelphia is 65. Just a thought. Velasquez, 24-33. He's on 33 losses, Velasquez. San Diego Padres is 137, the 33rd prime. 23 and 32 with Philadelphia. He could get his 33rd loss with Philly, though. Let's see what these teams' record is against each other. All right, let me see. The Phillies' next loss at home versus the Padres is 103 as well. Whoops. Oh my God, I just hit that, didn't I? Ugh. I did not mean to just hit that button. Alright, let me pull that back up. But I just saw that the Phillies' next loss at home against the Padres is 103, the 27th prime on this 27 date. And again, Padres is 27 as well. So they're 140 and 102 at home. And I think San Diego equals 142 if I'm not mistaken. So they could get to 142 home wins against San Diego in this series. Maybe they do lose today and then win the next two. To again get that 65th win on Sunday, the 65 date numerology, Christianity 65 by the way. Think about it, Sunday, 65, Philadelphia, Christianity. Okay. See what they've done this year. Phillies were 2-1 at San Diego earlier this year. The final game was played on 6-5, June 5th. That's funny. Let's see. So the Sunday game will be 74 days after that last meeting in San Diego. San Diego 74. All right, let me add that to the notes here. Should put it here. Phillies can pick up 103rd home loss versus Padres. 27th prime. If Phillies win 2 out of 3, they'll get to 142 home wins versus Padres. San Diego's 142. Okay. Let's see what Chris Paddock's got going on here. He's 0-1 against the Phillies. He's got bombed last time. This game was in San Diego. He had 4.1 innings pitched and 5 earned runs. So that's not encouraging. God, I don't think the Phillies have a 76 connection. He could fall to 7-6 with a loss. Well, look at who he's playing next. So there's just another part of me that's wondering if the Phillies are going to go on a big win streak here. Phillies. And Padres. Chris Paddock's 61 like Philadelphia too. Let's look at Velasquez a little bit more. Velasquez again. His stats. Velasquez has pitched really well against the Padres, so It's 11-15 at home. His next loss is 16. It's the 16th of the month. I think I would lay off this game tonight. And I think if the Phillies do lose, I don't think they're going to continue to lose with the date numerology. I think that they will get to that 65th win in the series by Sunday. The date was 65 numerology. Because again, that's another big. I'd argue that that's the biggest Philadelphia number. And San Diego Padres is 65, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So Philadelphia is 65 in the same cipher. Again, the city established on the day, leaving 65 days left in the year. Chance the Phillies do go down tonight. The reason I wouldn't take it, even though the riddle seems to mostly point that way, is just because there's a special narrative going on with this team. And, well, hold on. Let's see if we can see who pitches the next 2 days. It's real clear that they have strong riddles. Maybe. Eflin can get to 8-11. Philadelphia, PA is 118. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is also 118. So 8-11 in reverse. That Lamette guy's not very good. God, is there something to 76 with Philadelphia that I don't know? That's what I'm wondering. Interesting how the 76 shows up twice in the series. There's that Bay Area connection with the Phillies. San Francisco 76. Oh. One, two, three, four, five. Velasquez is against the Marlins next. Nothing clear with that. And the Padres schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He faces the Reds next. And there's nothing clear with that either. Reds don't have a connection to those numbers. If he got his 8th win against the Reds, Reds is 19, the 8th prime. That's about all I could think of. If he didn't get the win today and got the 8th against... But, yeah, I'd wait and see. I think if the Phillies do lose today, they'll win Saturday and Sunday to get to 65 on Sunday, the 65 date. Again, both teams got the 65 connection. The Mariners, we don't know who their pitcher is. If they didn't lose today, they'd stay on 36 away losses on the 36 date. Remember, Toronto equals 36 and 72. 72 total losses, 36 away. If the Blue Jays, well, they come in on 23 away wins too. Toronto or Blue Jays is 23. The Blue Jays' next win is 52. Mariners is 52. I think this Wague spec has much to go off of. Yeah, 3-1. If he lost, he'd be 3-2. Blue Jays is 32 as well as 23. Guess we can see who he faces next. He faces LA next. If he won, he'd be 4-1 to face LA 41 next. So let me document that. Wake's back can improve to 4-1. He will face LA next. LA equals 41. He could also fall to 3-2. Blue Jays equals 23-32. All right, we don't know who the Mariners pitcher is. Orioles. Looks like the Orioles have a good shot to win 1 game out of 3. That would get them to 22 wins. Boston is 22 in the most pure cipher. If the Red Sox, well, if Porcello won today, he'd be 11-9. 119 is a Saturn number, just like how the Orioles have the Saturn connection. Orioles is 93 in the most pure cipher, just like Saturn. If you use the rule with the capital letter, the Francis Bacon rule, it's plus 26, so both of them are 119. So could make some sense for Porcello to become 11-9 versus the Orioles. And their home record will be 31-32. Boston's 31-32. Brooks' win or loss record could be like the date numerology 2-7 or 3-6. Let's look more at Porcello and see his total stats. See if he has a good riddle here to beat Baltimore. 145 and 115. I don't think that connects. And Orioles. Wow, losing record versus the Orioles. 7-12 versus the Orioles. Orioles. Boston is a huge favorite in this one. Let's look at Brooks to see if he has any narrative. He's 5-11, so we know what's up with that. We've seen plenty of Orioles pitchers get to 5-11. Saturn's 5-11. And he's looking for his first win with Baltimore, 0-3. So for the year, he's 2-6. Whoops. I need Red Sox. He's 1-1 versus the Red Sox. 4.61 ERA, 2 starts under his belt. One game he went the complete game. So he pitched a complete game against the Red Sox. It's pretty impressive. He's 0-1 at Fenway, though. 8.31 ERA, 1 start, 4.1 innings, 5 runs, 4 earned. Well, I just see the Saturn number in Porcello's record with the win, and I know those Saturn numbers definitely connect with the Orioles. They're also a huge favorite, so that's probably where that one's at. And again, the Orioles just winning 1 out of 3 would make sense. We know that the day they play best on is Saturday. Let's see what they got going for tomorrow. Wojciechowski, Eduardo Rodriguez. Well, it's not an encouraging matchup. About Sunday. It's not either. Okay. The only riddle I see for the Orioles is just their pitcher improving to 3-6. But he could fall to 2-7 just because the date numerology is 27-36. But again, always looking for those Saturn numbers with the Orioles, and that would be Porcello becoming 11-9. Not a good payout though on that game. All right, Tigers and Rays. Huge line here for Tampa Bay. Big favorites at home, obviously. If what's the thing I was looking at? If the Rays won 2 out of 3 games, they'd get to 33 home wins. And we know Tigers is 33. Morton today would be 14-4 with a win. 144. Detroit's 44. When you write out 44 as a word, it's 144. Let me see. Morton's next win is 89. His next loss is 86. Detroit's 98. The reflection. Morton's next win, 14, is also symbolic because Tampa Bay raises 43, the 14th prime. Let's look at Daniel Norris real quick. (15-27), 14-26 with Detroit. He could get his 27th loss with Detroit on this 27 date. Note that. And who does Morton face next? Oh. Morton will face the Mariners next. And I'm just thinking about that. Seattle's 44. When you write out 44, it's 144. That game will be in Seattle. It will give him a chance to get to 15-4, big baseball number. Actually, the Mariners don't have a connection. Tampa Bay Rays. He'd have to get on a losing streak to get to 13-7. Have to lose 3 straight. I don't see it facing the Tigers and Mariners. Yeah, I don't see any reason to believe the Tigers would upset the Rays here today. Castillo, if he lost today, he'd be 11-5. St. Louis is 115. 11's the 5th prime number. So that's one thing that jumps out about this game. The Reds have a chance to stay on 63 losses on the 63 date. The Cardinals could also stay on 63 wins on the 63 date. Cardinals is 63. Again, I'm not crazy about that date numerology path or staying on numbers. But Castillo, what does jump out is if he loses, his record would be a tribute to St. Louis. And let's see what Wainwright's got going on. (156-93). Reds. Caller?
Hey, what's going on, Zach? It's me, Joe Pig.
Hey, man.
Hey, I was doing some numbers, and I think I have something good for the Yankees game.
Okay.
Okay, so I was looking at the head-to-head record, and the total record is, for the home record for the Yankees is 597 wins and 390 losses to Cleveland.
Okay.
Okay. So if they get swept, it'd be 393. 393 equals Cleveland.
Really?
Yes.
What cipher is that?
That's satanic.
Oh, okay. Okay, didn't know that.
Okay, and then the Indians would pick up 37 away wins. 37 equals Yankees.
Right.
And then sweep equals 22.
And 23.
And the Yankees would get 22 home losses.
Okay. And the Indians would stay on 23 away losses, sweeps 23 in the most pure cipher.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly. That's what I got so far.
Well, that is very interesting. That it's hard to imagine the Yankees getting swept at home, but the Indians are playing well, so it's not out of the question. I was thinking the Yankees would win at least one, though.
By the way, too, they're not playing the Indians the rest of the year unless they meet in the playoffs, so that's it.
Well, that is a very possible playoff matchup.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good to know that, like you can finish a season and kind of end on a Cleveland, you know what I mean? Like on a word that like equals one of the teams and stuff, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, so it's a great observation. What I noticed, though, is that the Yankees win one game in the series. If they lost the series but won one, they'd get to 48. That's a big Cleveland number, too. Cleveland's 48.
48.
So, yeah. But, yeah, you made a great observation about a potential sweep. So maybe Indians do take the series, win at least 2 out of 3.
Okay. Sounds good, man.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right, let me take a peek at that head-to-head like he's saying, too. I'd be interested in it. All right, so there they are right there. So if they did lose 3, they would be at 393 losses. He's right on. Let me load up what they've done this year against each other. Caller?
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
All right, that's fine. This is Davon. If you go back to that Orioles game, it's something that I looked at in the records. Well, in the hit records through the season with Boston and them, and it's kind of crazy.
Okay.
All right, now if you go back, they played Boston July the 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Okay.
All right. It was a 3-game series. This series now is another 3-game series. And the Orioles play Boston again, another 3-game series in September. Now, this is the kicker. The first game that they played in the 19th of July, the Boston beat them 11-2. They beat them. Let me see. No, I'm sorry. I think they won 11-2 and lost 17-6, and then won 5-0. Now, when the Orioles blanked Boston, the guy that's pitching on Saturday pitched that Sunday.
Okay.
So what I'm looking at is that they look like they changed the rotation. So I know that you said that the Orioles played well on Saturday. They lost that Saturday on the 20th, got beat 17-6, and then they blanked Boston the following day.
I remember that weekend because that's what we said. We said, well, typically that was the first time they'd lost on Saturday in a while, and then that we noticed how they had a good riddle for that Sunday. So we said, well, maybe that's what's going on this week. Maybe they lose on Saturday this week, they get it done on Sunday. I remember that game. Yeah.
Yeah, and now they got the same guy that blanked Boston on Sunday. He has them pitching. He's pitching the second game on Saturday. So if any game I think that the Orioles beat Boston, it will be Saturday.
Same pitchers, deja vu of the last series. Okay.
Yep, same pitcher. All they did was switch him around, have him pitch in the second game instead of having pitch in the last game.
Okay, good observation.
So that's
something
that's the game. Go ahead.
Great observation. And what I'm noticing is if Boston wins today, they'll be 9-5 versus Baltimore this year. Right now they're 8-5. Boston's 85. Red Sox 85. If they win today, they'll be 9-5. Baltimore's 95. And if they lost tomorrow, they'd become 9-6. Orioles is 96. So that makes some sense.
And in any game, I think I think they win Saturday. And that would be the only game, that series to me, that will go under.
Okay.
Because I just been betting. I've been betting doing the over and unders. They've been killing on that. So that's the game that I look at. That's the game that I think that the Orioles win and that game goes under tomorrow.
Okay, great observations. Yeah. Great observations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Take care. All right, so Boston's 8-5 right now versus the Orioles. Let me just count it out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins. And then losses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8-5. Boston 85. Red Sox 85. Baltimore's 95. So they can become 9-5 today by beating Baltimore. And then Orioles is 96 if they lost tomorrow. We've seen a lot of Orioles 9-6 scores this year. So, I like Porcello getting to that Saturn number, and now I like that the Red Sox can become 9-5 as well. Let me jot that down. All right. What order do I have this in? Where's the... If Boston wins Game 1, they will be 9-5 versus Orioles. Baltimore equals 95. If Orioles lost Game 1 and won Game 2, Boston would be 9-6 versus O's, and Orioles is 96. So, and that would do the Saturday thing. Orioles, it tends to be the day they pull out their big games. So. Saturday, named after Saturn. All right. Where were we? Were we talking Cardinals and Reds? I think that's where we were. Okay. If the Reds won 2 out of 3 in this series, they would get to 36 wins. Cardinals is 36, so that's a thought. But today, Castillo looks troubling. Castillo could fall to 11-5, and St. Louis is 115. 11's also the 5th prime number. So hold on, I was pulling up Wainwright's stats. He's 156 and 93. Next one's 157, the 37th prime. I guess we can see who he'd face next in case he faces a 37 opponent next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like he'll face the Rockies next. Oh, no, I counted wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll actually face the Brewers next, and Milwaukee is 37. So if Wainwright didn't get credited with a win today, 157 would make a lot of sense against Milwaukee. So yeah, Milwaukee should be his next start. Yeah, then he plays them again. All right, so maybe Wainwright gets a no decision. Doesn't mean his team loses, though. And Castillo. Castillo's 24 and 23. Now, well, that's interesting. He could get his 25th career win, and St. Louis is 25. So he could get his 25th career win over St. Louis. And there is reason to believe that the Reds would win 2 out of 3 to get to 36 because Cardinals is 36. If Wainwright doesn't get a W, he will stay on 156 career wins. Next opponent is Milwaukee. Milwaukee equals 37, 157, 37th prime. So Wainwright's next start does make more sense for a win, which leans towards no decision or loss. And Castillo, man, his record with a loss, his immediate record makes sense with the loss, but the fact that he can get his 25th career win makes that dicey. Let's look at the splits for these two guys versus these teams. Cardinals. 2 and 3 versus the Cardinals. That's not going to help. And then Wainwright. Reds. He's 9-12 versus the Reds. It's going to be his 27th start today. Make sure I'm not missing something here. Reds. Great American Ballpark's 89. So if Wainwright lost today, his record would actually be 8-9 at the right location. Castillo, he was 24-23, wasn't he? For his career. The only thing I can think about that is 89's the 24th prime if he lost. But again, picking up those career win totals against the right opponent, I mean, that happens a lot. We just saw it with the Detroit pitcher. He got his 107th career win against Seattle. Seattle 107. We saw it yesterday with Stroman. He got his 48th career win. Atlanta's 48. There's more. So, something I can say about Castillo not becoming 11-5 is there's been a number of riddles lined up for an 11-5 to hit against St. Louis this year, and they have not come through. Seems like they haven't come through actually more often than they have, which is interesting. You think they'd come through because St. Louis is 115. It's the year of the 115th World Series, but it would make sense on both sides if Castillo got the win, though. He would get his 25th career win, St. Louis 25, and Wainwright would be 8-9 at the right ballpark. And then that would put the Reds on the way to winning 2 out of 3, which it looks like they can do. Let's also look at what they've done against each other this year. Cincinnati Reds, St. Louis Cardinals. Their next loss at home is 563. I just want to see if that's a prime number. It's the 100. Well, that's funny. 563 is the 103rd prime number. 103 is the 27th prime. You got this 27 date numerology. All right. They've played each other 2,424 times. It's amazing. 24-24. One second, just waiting for this to load up here. It takes a minute when there's this many games. Let's see what the record is this year. One, two, three, four, five. 5 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Reds are 5-7 versus the Cardinals. 5-7. 5 from the Cardinals' perspective. Cardinals. 7. Reds. 7. Well, I don't think that's going to help us out. All right, another tight one just because Castillo could get to 11-5, but the pitcher riddles do make sense on both sides if the Reds win. And if the Reds won, the 63s would stay. Again, it is a 63 date. Not crazy about that date numerology path or staying, but it is still there. Cardinals also equals 63, so... Did I look at who they face next? That's one more thing we can do. Oh yeah, I saw that they faced the Brewers next. You know, if Wainwright actually lost this game and became 8-9, like the name of the park, and then he beat the Brewers in the next game, he'd be 9-9. Brewers is 99, and he'd get that 157th win all time, which makes sense as well. Caller?
Hey, what's going on? It's me, Joe P. again.
Hey, man.
All right, I think I found a little bit more to add on to it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, you know how we talked about the Yankees can stay on 47 home wins?
Wait, which game are we talking about?
The Yankees.
Oh, Yankees, okay.
Okay, so the Yankees, I want to add on to it about the sweep. So if they get swept, they're going to stay on 47 home wins, okay?
And Indians is 47.
Yep, and Ohio is 47.
Right, that's true.
And then the pitcher that's pitching today, his name is Aaron Savali.
Okay.
Savali. And he equals 47.
Okay.
And I noticed that the Indians have 49 losses overall. And Yankee Stadium equals 49.
Okay, right.
All right, and then, like I said, and then you caught the other one too. The 22 for the sweep for the Yankees if they have the home losses, and you said the 23 for the Indians away losses for the pure site. You said right?
The dark blue one.
Reduction, you said?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. All right, that's what I have. That's the last of it.
All right, good observations. There was a narrative there. All right, thanks, man.
All right, thank you.
Keep in mind today is 16/8, like 168. New York City's 168. But, yeah, there's definitely a narrative there. Win 3 in a row, Yankees 37. So, all right. But, yeah, Wainwright, if he loses and wins against the Brewers, that would be perfect for his record. So... I'm going to lean Reds on this one, but the one concern is Castillo becoming 11-5. So, all right, Dodgers and Braves. You got the 27 date numerology. Dodgers can get the 27th away loss. Braves can get the 27th home loss. However, if Maeda loses, he's 8-9, like 89. Atlanta Braves is 89. Soroka, if he lost, he would be 10-3, kind of like 103, the 27th prime. We do have a 27 date numerology, so it's definitely not a straightaway read. If the Braves won just 1 in this series and lost 2, their record would be 73-53. Los Angeles Dodgers is 73. Los Angeles is 53. So winning 1 out of 3 is very possible, I'd say, for the Braves to start this series. Let's dig deeper here. Kenta Maeda, 45-35. Maeda could also get his 36th career loss. It's 36 date numerology. So Maeda falling to 8-9. Atlanta Braves 89 makes sense. 36th career loss on the 36th date makes some sense. Okay, and his splits versus Atlanta. He's 2-0 with a sub-1 ERA, so He's pitched well historically against him. Not sure if those games were in Atlanta or Los Angeles. 2 wins and 2 starts, though. Let's see. So he's pitched there. So he has 1 start there. Went 7 innings and gave up no runs. So he pitched really well last time he pitched there. It's not a lot of history, but he has done well there. All right, let's see Soroka. Soroka's 12-3 for his career. He could get his 13th win over Los Angeles. So let's make these notes about Soroka. Soroka is 10-2 on season. All right, so the fear is him falling to 10-3. And what's his history with the Dodgers? Does he have any? So he has not faced the Dodgers yet. And what about at SunTrust Park? He's 5-3 at SunTrust Park. Well, it is a 63 date numerology. Could get to 6-3. All right, who does Maeda face next? One, two, three, four, 5. Blue Jays and Dodgers. I guess if he was 9-9, when you write out 13, it's 99, but it doesn't tell us about today's game. Yeah, shoot. How many career wins did Maeda have again? His next career loss was 36. Today has the 36th date. The next opponent's Toronto. Toronto 36. Oops. 45. All right, what about Soroka? Who's he face next? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Marlins. Yeah, Marlins is 103. Ooh. So if he lost, he'd go into that Marlins record. He'd go in with the Marlins record 10-3. So that is tight. Yeah, that's tight. You can again, the date numerology could go either way, and now we can make a good argument either way for the pitcher too. So. And let's look at the all-time head-to-head for one last thing, just in case there is something that can help us break this. Atlanta Braves, Los Angeles Dodgers, a lot of games. Next loss is 533. I don't think that's prime. Let's check. Not prime. Okay. Let's load this up here, see what they've done against each other this year. The Braves are 0-3 versus the Dodgers this year. So if they won, they'd be 1-3. Remember, LA's 41, Braves is 41, the 13th prime. If they lost again, they'd be 0-4. L plus A in your most pure ciphers is 3 plus 1, 4. We've seen a number of teams start out 0-4 against the Dodgers this year and then win in the 5th game to become 1-4. LA's also 14. When you write out 14 as a word, it's 41. Like LA's 41, like Braves is 41. This is the first game in Atlanta. Alright, I have a note for that game. Again, if the Braves did win 2 out of 3, they would get to 36. Dodgers is 36. Braves are 0-3 versus Dodgers this year. LA equals 13 and 14. Braves equals 41. LA equals 41, 13th prime. Caller?
Hey, I think you're overlooking the 13-3 career against LA.
That he could get his 13th win?
Yeah, for Soroka. Because, I mean, that 13-3 played so much this year involving them, especially with the Super Bowl.
Well, football's 133. That Super Bowl wasn't Atlanta, though. That is a good point. So.
And the other thing too is he could go into that Marlins game 11-2 and get the 12th win, which would fit Marlins equals 32.
Yeah, but that's not the way we've seen pitchers going with the records. They've gone in with the records that are just like the gematria of the team.
Yeah, tonight it's not as clear with using that method, but I definitely think that the Braves have a legitimate shot.
Well, so do I, but so do the Dodgers, so that's why it looks pretty dicey here.
Also, at that Orioles game, there's a huge thing for Porcello to lose.
What's that?
Let me pull up some of the notes.
You don't like the Red Sox becoming 9-5 against Baltimore?
Porcello 69-52 with Boston. It will be his 152nd appearance for the Red Sox. He'd get his 53rd loss. He's 145, 115 all time. He'd get his 116th to match 611. That's going to be on the board today for it. The Orioles pitcher's 40th appearance with 511 record. And then, let's see what else. Red Sox 125th game, 251. Sort of like reflection. And then there's a sync with the 251 days.
Well, it's not a reflection. It's a reshuffling of the numbers.
Also,
out of all the things out of the number, you're saying numbers so fast. What have any of these numbers had to do with Porcello losing?
Well, him staying on the 145 fits with the Boston Red Sox equals 154. Tomorrow you have Rodriguez, and he can go to 14-5. So it makes more sense for them to have the Red Sox win tomorrow, lose today. I know you like the whole Saturday thing with the Orioles, but today it makes a bit more sense for.
If the Red Sox beat the Orioles today, they're 9-5 against them. Baltimore's 95.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to happen that way, and the date numerology is on the side of the Orioles today, because the Red Sox would be going into the 64-day on 64 wins.
Well, that's true, but that date numerology is not even real consistent. That path.
But today also has the 163 on the Hebrew calendar, and we've been seeing that hit a lot.
Well, okay. So, what's the 163 connection?
The 163. That's just the like a more solidification of the 63 that's going on. I mean, it's been the past few days. Both of those calendars have been synced up in the primary date numerology.
Well, I'd say for the Orioles riddle to win is Aaron Brooks to become 3-6 on the 36 date, but he can become 2-7 as well on the 27 date. The Saturn numbers keep coming through in the riddles with the Orioles, and that's just what stands out. That Porcello can be 11-9 and Saturn's 119. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to pull up some of the notes I have here, but. I think it's much more likely that we're going to see Porcello go to 10-10 today. That 33 that's on the board.
What I can say about that, if you write out 10 as a word, it is 39 like Orioles. I mean, that's a thought. So.
Yeah, I'll let you get back to it. I have a lot more notes. I just got to track them down. It's because I'm going through the rest of the games myself as well right now.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
I'll let you get back to it.
Okay. All right. Twins and Rangers. So Mike Minor, if Mike Minor won today, he'd be 12-6. The name of their ballpark is 126. Odorizzi with a loss would be 13-6. Prime numbers. Prime numbers aren't always real big with the pitchers, but it is there. If the Twins only win 1 out of 3, they'll get to 74 wins. Texas Rangers is 74. And again, if the Rangers win today, they have the date numerology on their side. They can get the 36th home win on the 36th date numerology. So Mike Minor getting 12-6 at home makes sense because the stadium's 126, and then the 36th home win on the 36th date. The date numerology's been consistent. That looks good, but let's just take a little bit more of a look at the pitchers. See if there's anything else here to consider. Odorizzi 60-53. Those numbers don't go with the Rangers. He's 20-15 with Minnesota. Rangers. He's 4-1 versus the Rangers. Don't think that number has a connection. Wonder if he'll eventually end up being 5-2. Because Texas Rangers is 52 and Minnesota. There's no way that number can hit in this series, can it? No. Okay. Odorizzi. Okay. All right, what about Mike Minor? $67.56 with Texas 23-14. Not gonna worry so much about the 47. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, well, are you on a show right now?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, hey, man, I was one of the callers from your Wednesday show, but I just wanted to ask you something personal, man, but is it cool, like, if I call you back, like, after you're done with your show?
Yeah, that'd be cool. You can call me back then.
When do you get to be done?
Hard to say. Give me a few hours. Sometimes it takes a while. So.
A few hours?
Try me in like 3 hours.
Alright, man. And
All right.
This is your cell phone, I guess?
Yeah, this is. Yeah, it is.
Alright, well, this is mine too, man. But, alright, bro. Well, yeah, I'll call you back, man.
All right, thanks. See you. Okay. I was looking up Mike Minor's record versus the Twins. Okay. Are they really? Isn't that exactly what Odorizzi was versus the Rangers too? 4-1. So Odorizzi's 4-1 versus the Rangers, and Mike Minor's 4-1 versus the Twins. Huh? That's strange. He's 11-7 at home. All I can say about 11-8 is that's the George Herbert Walker Bush number. You might recall that ritual earlier this year. The Rangers, the Bushes used to run the Rangers, so. That's interesting. They have the exact same record. All right, let's see who they play next. Twins schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So White Sox next. What could make sense about that? Whoops. Oh, I lost my cheat sheet on. Chicago White Sox. The game's in Chicago. No, the game's in Minnesota. Twins. Okay. All right, he'll face the Angels next. The Angels Stadium, that game's in Los Angeles? No. That game's in Texas, okay. So if he won this game, he'd have a chance at win number 13 versus LA. We know LA's 13. If he didn't win, he'd be 11-7, which has a relationship with 13, and he'd have a chance at his 12th win. Los Angeles is 37, the 12th prime. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
Hey, what's up, man?
I just waking up. I'm a truck driver. You know what I'm saying? I got a late start today. You did New York Yankees yet?
The Yankees game, I'm not real crazy about that game today.
I know. I lost big money on yesterday. I lost big money. I thought they were winning, man.
You didn't take the Marlins to upset the Dodgers yesterday?
Man, I should, man. I listen to y'all, man. I should listen to y'all. Then I saw myself the money on the other side too, man. The guy, y'all are right. The money on the other side, man.
Yeah. What game got you yesterday? What got you yesterday? What game hurt you yesterday?
You talking what the game? The Miami game, Miami and the Dodger game.
Well, you said yesterday a game hurt you. What game was bad for you yesterday?
Oh, the Yankees, man. I put big on the Yankees yesterday, man. But it's okay though.
Okay, that's too good.
Yeah, but I had to fight back. You got to keep fighting back. That needs ain't nothing guaranteed. You know that.
Right.
So what game do you like? What game do you like today? What game you like?
I like the Nationals game. The Nationals pitcher can become 10-5. Nationals is 105. Hauser can fall to 5-6 for the Brewers in that game. Washington D.C.'s 56. So I like that one. Where's the next game we were talking about? There's another game down here I like. Maybe I haven't gotten to it yet today.
What about the NFL last night? Baltimore won. Did Baltimore won last night?
Yep, they did. They won.
Man, Baltimore hot, man. You said today was hot. Remember you said that? You said that it was a hot team in preseason?
They've now won 15 straight in the preseason, yeah?
You got to be joking.
No, that's true.
Man. So, who do you like tonight? You ain't got your NFL yet?
I haven't done any NFL yet. No.
Okay, no problem. I'm ready to see your all ball line. No problem. Let's see right now, then.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, sir. You too. Bye-bye.
Take care. It's too bad that Marlins game was a big payout yesterday. That was the one that looked good in the morning. Okay. So, yeah, some of these other games, they're just not great payouts. Hold on. There was some other game I liked today. We just haven't gotten to it yet. All right, but again, if Mike Minor wins, his record is just like the ballpark, and the Rangers do have the date numerology to go with it. They can get the 36th home win on the 36th date. If the Twins just win one in the series, they'll get to 74 wins. Texas Rangers, 74. So I think that's very possible. The Mets and the Royals, if the Mets won today, they'd get the 63rd win on the 63 date. And Syndergaard, we're going to have to look more at his numbers because if he lost, he'd be 8-6. Kansas City Royals is 86. But if Montgomery lost, he'd be 1-4. And we've seen that KC 14 thing play a lot. So, what's the Kansas City? Let's see the interleague play records here. Kansas City's 5-7 versus the National League. Perfect, right? They're facing the Mets. Mets 57. And the Mets are 10-4. I don't think that connects. Let me check. Kansas City. No. Yes. All right. So Syndergaard, the concern is he can fall to 8-6 because Kansas City Royals is 86. Last time the Royals played the NL East, it was the Braves, and they swept them. You might recall that game. That was in Atlanta. All right. Syndergaard. This was the World Series, 111th World Series, Royals and Mets. So Syndergaard's 2-0 versus the Royals with a 2.25 ERA and 2 starts. So he has some good history against them. Kauffman Stadium. He's 1-0 at Kauffman Stadium in 1 start. 6 innings, no runs allowed. And actually, I think I need to check. 45-27 for his career. Okay, who does Syndergaard face next? One, two, three, four, 5. Indians. Cleveland Indians is 95, if I'm not mistaken. So if he won, he'd be 9-5. Cleveland Indians 95. So if Syndergaard gets the W, he'll face the Indians 9-5. Syndergaard faces Indians next. He can improve to 9-5. Cleveland Indians equals 95. Yeah.
Okay, so I tracked down the notes they organized it for you. So Porcello's last loss at Fenway was 4-13, 125 days ago. Orioles pitcher was the one who lost to the Astros 22-3 in the Orioles' 116th game. And the Orioles go to 6-11 tonight for that pitcher rather. Porcello gets 116th career loss. Rick Porcello, I already mentioned, is 137-33 prime. The Red Sox get full 30-33 at home. The caption, like the abbreviation for the teams when you look at the score, the box score rather, BAL at BOS is 111. Brooks' last birthday was 111 days ago. Porcello would fall to 7-13, which syncs with his Gematria. Porcello is 69-52 with Boston, his 152nd appearance, so that sinks in with his last loss 125 days ago at Fenway. And it would be his 53rd loss. And it is 55-day numerology and Hebrew calendar. The Red Sox get their 55th AL loss, and the caption also is 51-15. The Red Sox could go to 28-32 against the AL East, which is a 1-5 reduction of 5-1 to net first. And this should be another Super Bowl sync. So the Red Sox earlier this year, when Cashner appeared, they were entering the game 54-45 on the 202nd day of the year. It was a 22-day, and Of course, Porcello wears, I think, number 22. And that was the 100th game of the season. It is the 100th NFL season, and it's Super Bowl 54 this year. The Red Sox went to 54 and 46 that day. And for Porcello, his birthday is also 12/27. It would be his 31st birthday, and it's 133 days from that. But the other thing, too, is if you look at the time span or the date span until the Super Bowl, it's 170 days. Yesterday it was the 171, which I brought up with regards to that Marlins game. And so the Red Sox could get their 60th loss and the Orioles their 40th win, which would sync with Brady going to 6-4 in the Super Bowl with a loss in Super Bowl 54.
Okay.
And the other thing, too, is that game where they lost against the Orioles, where it was a sync with Cashner. Cashner was born September 11th, so that also ties in with the 6/11 stuff, which goes back to, I mean, when people do that, like, the 666 hand sign over their eyes, that's the same thing as being able to show the 116, 119, or the flipping of it. So it seems to reason, just like how the Yankees will beat the Tigers most likely on September 11th and go to 11-6 or 6-11 on September 11th since 2001.
Okay.
So I definitely think that the Orioles are going to get this, and the fact that it ties in the 170 days until the Super Bowl. Boston Red Sox equals 170 English Ordinal. Jose Alexander Cora equals 170 English Ordinal. So I know it looks like really good for Porcello in the conventional method, but when you put it in context with that last loss and the fact that the Orioles pitcher had his mockery game against the
Well, I wouldn't
Astros
say it looks really
year.
good for Porcello. He has a losing record against Baltimore.
Yeah,
But
that 7-13 thing, it also ties in with the Astros game tonight, which I thought was interesting. So with Verlander, he could go to 15-5. Oakland Athletics equals 155 English Ordinal. He is 14-6 against the Athletics. Well, Athletics equals 146 reverse Ordinal. He could fall to 14-7 against them. Houston Astros equals 147 reverse Ordinal. And Hinch, his birthday is May 15th, which is like 15/5. But the date numerology would go against them, losing. So it's just something to think about.
okay, yeah, I think the best riddle for Baltimore to upset is that Porcello could become 7-13 versus them. So that is
But
interesting.
it's just something to watch. So if the Red Sox lose tonight, yeah, there is that Super Bowl thing. But if they lose and the Astros lose, that means that there's going to be a Gematria sync with these records between the pitcher against the opponent, just like I mentioned with Verlander. So, I mean, those two would be identical. So, I didn't like when I called them before. I was a little scattered, but I wanted to organize because I felt like this
one
was
other
one
thing
of
I'm
his
seeing
better
about Porcello is he could get his 42nd win tonight at Fenway, too, and Saturn's also 42. So
Yeah, but I mean, that's more of an abstract connection.
Orioles is 42. That's not abstract at all. So
Yeah, it just seems like there's more going the other way. But, I mean, we can disagree. But it's just one of those ones that I definitely think will be good to observe.
Sure. Well, it would be a nice upset if the Orioles came through. They'd be a good payout, just like the Marlins yesterday. But the Marlins had a lot better riddle yesterday. So.
Oh, yeah, definitely yesterday was a much clearer read for the Marlins. Because they had the 117, and it was like the guy going to 13-13 in his career, and 13 is 45 and 117. And then it ended up being that they got the 13-13 in the box score. So.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll let you go back there. Thanks again.
All right, see it. Okay. So Porcello can get his 42nd win at Fenway, and Orioles is 42. And remember, Saturn's 42 and 119. The Saturn rituals definitely play with Orioles, just like how Aaron Brooks is 5-11 for his career, another Saturn number. Porcello with a loss would fall to 7-13 versus Orioles. So that's something to think about, though, because he loses at almost a rate of 2-1 to the Orioles. And his name, Rick Porcello, is 137, so that in reverse. That is definitely the upset narrative. could fall to 10-10 as well. The loss. 10 equals 39. Orioles is 39. So we were talking about, though, how if Boston wins, they'll be 9-5 against Baltimore this year, and Baltimore's 95. So that's a hard one to overlook. A lot of times the head-to-head records for the teams, especially in the divisions, those things play out. That's what I've noticed. And then if the Red Sox won today and became 9-5, it would set up the potential Saturday theme for the Orioles. They could win and make the Red Sox 9-6 versus the Orioles, where Orioles is 96. Okay, where were we? We were talking Mets Royals. So we saw that Syndergaard will face the Indians next, and if he won, he'd be 9-5. Cleveland Indians is 95. Let me make sure Royals don't have a connection to that too. I know Royals got the 86 connection. That's the immediate thing. If he lost tonight, he'd be 8-6. I suppose if he won, becoming 9-5, Kansas City Royals is also 59, the reflection of 95. And again, Montgomery being 1-4, I swear that number just keeps playing for Kansas City. KC's 14. And he faces Baltimore next. Baltimore's 41, so if he's 1-4, it'd be the reflection of the Baltimore record. And again, I forget what the interleague play record was for the Mets. 10-4. Yeah, I couldn't make sense of that. Or what it could be. Montgomery. He's 1-0 versus the Mets. 2 career starts. So he's pitched well against them. Just like Syndergaard's pitched well against the Royals. Okay. The only date numerology in this game is just that the Mets can get the 63rd win on the 63 day. Again, that's my least favorite date numerology path, but it is there. So based on who the pitchers face next, I gotta say I'm leaning Mets a little bit, but Royals do have a shot at the upset because of the 8-6 thing. I think Mets probably do it though. All right, John Gray. Last start, he got a no decision, but if his next decision is a loss, he would be 10-9. Rockies is 109. The Rockies' next loss is 68. Miami Marlins is 68. And the Marlins' next win is 46. Rockies is 46. Seems likely the Marlins will lose 2 out of 3 in this series to get to 38 away losses. We know how hard 38 plays with Colorado. That would probably be the smartest bet you could make for if you're doing anything with this series. Take the Rockies to win the series because the odds of the Marlins getting that 38th away loss in Colorado is very high. And again, if they only won 1, they'd have 46 wins. Rockies is 46. But tonight, John Gray, his record's a little concerning. So, that's something else you could do too, is if you could wait to see tonight's game in case the Rockies did lose. If the Rockies lost tonight, betting on them to win the series would pay more if they lost the first game. So that's another consideration. But I do suspect the Marlins get 38 away losses in the series. Again, you know how big it is with Colorado. John Gray, his next win is 43. Colorado's 43. His next loss is 34. So he can get his 43rd win in Colorado. Florida's also 43. They used to be the Florida Marlins. He's 2-3 versus the Marlins with a 5.14 ERA. Okay. And at Coors Field, 24-10. Okay. What about Alcantara? I think that's all the history he's got. Six and 13. Alcantara's next career loss is 14. Colorado's 43, the 14th prime. So let me jot this down here. So if Gray got the 43rd win, I'll make a note about Florida too. Gray got the 43rd win and Alcantara got the loss. He'd get the 14th career loss, 43 the 14th prime. So could be a little Colorado ritual there. And make sure one more thing. Oh, whoops. Let me do it this way. Colorado. Field. Did we see if Alcantara had any history with the Rockies? Want to know versus the Rockies? 8 innings pitched, no runs given up. Has he pitched at Coors Field before? First game at Coors Field, though, that was in Miami. So a lot of pitchers struggle in Colorado. See if we... Oh, I know what else we can check. Colorado Rockies. Miami Marlins. They're 59 and 43 at home. There's that 43 again. And 97, 111 overall. So they split at Miami earlier this year, 2-2. Haven't played since March 31st. Let's see how many days it is from the last game. 138 days, or a span of 139. 34th prime. All right, who's Gray face next? One, two, three, four, 5. 10 and 9. Diamondbacks don't connect to those numbers. Faces Arizona next. about the Marlins pitcher? He'll face the Braves next. Braves is 41. Yeah, I think what I would do is I'd either take the Rockies to win the series or wait until tonight's game's over and then take the Rockies to win the series, because there is a small chance they lose tonight just because of the 10-9 thing. Rockies is 109. And even if they did lose tonight, then you'd get better odds for them to win the series because they'd already be down a game. But I don't see how they escape without 38 away losses at Colorado. And again, Gray could get the 43rd win tonight. Colorado 43, perfect to pick it up at home. Alcantara with the 14th career loss in Colorado, 43 the 14th prime. That makes a lot of sense. I just worry about that 109 piece. So, okay, Giants and Diamondbacks. It's Orange Friday. Mike Leake, his next career loss is 97, if I'm not mistaken, which is the 25th prime, and we know Giants is 25 and SF is 25. So yeah, Mike Leake, he's 102 and 96. Got his 96th career loss with the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks 96. All right, so let me note this down. Leake can get 97th career loss. 97, 25th prime. Giants equals 25. SF equals 25. Leake can also get 103rd win. 103, 27th prime, 27 dates. Numerology. And let's see. Samardzija's 9-9. Arizona Diamondbacks is 99. Saw a lot of those 99 riddles with the Diamondbacks early on. Let's look at Leake splits, though, first against the Giants. In the NL, he's 80 and 77. Arizona Diamondbacks is also 81. He's 5-2 versus the Giants. 5-2. So he's got a winning record, 4.62 ERA. Let's see, Samardzija. Samardzija's 78 and 101. With the Giants 31 and 40. And Diamondbacks. He's 4-5 versus the Diamondbacks. Phoenix is 46 where they play. Okay. 5. Let's see who Samardzija faces next. One, two, three, four, 5. Well, if he gets a no decision, if Samardzija gets a no decision, that would make a lot of sense because he faces the Cubs at Wrigley next. Wrigley's 99, Illinois 99, Cubs is 9. So that's very possible. And then what was Mike Leake for the year? He's 0-1 with the Diamondbacks, but he's 9-9 for the season. And Arizona Diamondbacks is 99. Who's he face next? So he faces the Rockies next. If he won, he'd be 10-9, and he'd be able to face the Rockies next. Leak faces Rockies next. Rockies equals 109. Can improve to 10-9 for season. Okay. Make sure there's not something here with the field. Arizona. Okay. Double check what their head-to-head is this year. $82 and 112 at home. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losses. 7-7. I should make the note. Samardzija plays at Wrigley next. If he gets a no decision, he will remain 9-9. Wrigley 99. Illinois 99. Cubs 9. Okay, so what stands out the most to me is that Mike Leake, if he gets the W, he's 10-9 for the season overall, including his stats with the Mariners. And he does face the Rockies next, and Rockies is 109. So it's also possible he could get a no decision and pick that up against the Rockies. Giants have played well on Friday. More often than not lately. At the beginning of the year, they didn't. The only other thing that go against the D-backs is staying on 27 home wins on the 27 date. Giants would go into tomorrow, the 28 date, still on 28 away losses. So... yeah, it's probably still not a safe game, though. I mean, because Leak, the fact that he could get that 97th career loss is concerning. And we'll go with the Giants. So hold on. All right, the White Sox picked up their 35th away loss yesterday on the 35 date. They could pick up their 36th loss today on the 36th date. Tomorrow they could pick up the 37th loss on the 37 date. Remember, that's the overlap number. Los Angeles is 37, Chicago's 37. So I do suspect the White Sox do get to 37 away losses. If it follows the date numerology, that could make some sense as well. If the Angels were to win today, they'd stay on 63 losses on the 63 date. The one thing the White Sox have going is Giolito has a chance to get his 13th career win because LA's 13, but Los Angeles is also 37, the 12th prime. And let's see here. The date numerology played in this series yesterday. Giolito's next career loss is also 24. Los Angeles has that 89 connection, the 24th prime. And let's see. Angels. He's 1-0 versus the Angels. Let's see. .5 ERA, just 1 start. So not a real impressive game, but he did get the win. And Sandoval, he just got traded from the Nationals, didn't he? Never mind. Confusing him with somebody else. Alright, so he doesn't have a win or a loss yet. Limited information to go off of. Let's actually see what his birthday is, see if there could be any special alignment for his first career win. October 18th birthday. October 18th to today. 63 days, Major League 63. Today's got the 63 date numerology too. So his last birthday was that 302, span of 303 days. What's his name equal? .58 like Angels. Sandoval. What would make sense about getting your first career win against the White Sox? Let me see who Giolito pitches against next. Since this game followed the date numerology yesterday, I want to stick with that thought. Again, I really do like the White Sox getting to 37 losses as well, so the odds are in the Angels' favor. 3, 4, 5. We'll face the Twins next. Giolito, that is. All right, I'm gonna stick with the thought that the Angels get it done because the date numerology is what it followed yesterday. And again, if the Angels win 2 in a row, let's see who pitches tomorrow. By the way, follows that path, they'd get the 37th loss, the overlap number. Oh, we don't have the pitcher though. Suarez can become 3 and 4. The Angels have 2 connections to 139. Los Angeles Angels is 139, and Anaheim, California is 139, the 34th prime. So that could make some sense. But we don't know who the White Sox pitcher is. Okay. But when in doubt, I'm going with the date numerology right now. It is pretty consistent. The numbers were getting picked up yesterday. The Astros have a chance at their 36th away win today on the 36th date. The Athletics got their 38th home win. Astros is 38. Said the Athletics should win at least one, and yesterday looked like their best chance to win. They did win yesterday. Astros does also equal 70 if the Athletics could sneak out one more. So I'm thinking out of the next 3 games, the Athletics probably only win one more. What's interesting about Verlander today is if he did lose, he'd be 15 and 5, and Oakland Athletics with the alphabetic order is 155. So that does stand out. Again, like I was saying earlier, Verlander's records where the Gematria is lined up, they've come through this year. So I'm wondering if maybe Verlander could go down 2 games in a row. Let's look a little bit more at his stats. 219 wins, 127 losses. If he won, he'd get 220. Oakland's 22. He's 36 and 13 with Houston. 36 day. Athletics does have the Gematria 43, the 14th prime. And let's see his splits with Oakland. He's 14 and 6 versus the Athletics. 147. It's a World Series number. Okay, what about just pitching in Oakland? He's 8-4 for his career in Oakland. Oakland's 58th, the reflection. All right. Verlander is 8-4 at Oakland. Oakland equals 58. So from the A's perspective, they could be 5-8 versus Verlander in Oakland. Okay. Tanner Rourke. Let's look at his numbers. (71-62). So Rourke could get his 63rd career loss on this 63 day. Again, Major League 63. Major League Baseball and Major League both equal 63, both of them. Let's see his stats here against the Astros. (2-0) versus the Astros with a 2.53 ERA, so he's pitched nice against them. Let's see who Verlander faces next. One, two, three, four, five. Detroit Tigers. That's his old team, the Tigers. I got to see what his record is against the Tigers. If he lost this game and the next game, he could become 15-6, like 156. When you write out 33, it's 156. Make sure none of these numbers go with Tigers. Tigers. Astros could get their 45th loss tonight. ESPN has 45 when you use the rule for the reduction. ESPN game. What's his record against the Tigers? Two and 1 versus the Tigers. All right. Well, there is a riddle there for the upset. Oakland Athletics is 155. That would be pretty on the money if that happened. And what's Rourke's total stats this year? Just came over from Cincinnati. He's 7-8 for the year. 7-8. California's 88. Do Astros have a connection to those numbers? He's 7-8 for the year, facing the Houston Astros 78. I just saw something about Verlander in 147. What was that? His record versus the A's. What that? It's 14-6. So he could become 14-7. All right, but Rourke can get that 63rd loss. 7-8 for the year. All right, who's he play next? If Rourke lost, he'd be 7-9 for the year, like 79, the 22nd prime. Oakland is 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll face the Yankees next. New York 78. Could potentially get a no decision. Okay. Okay. The thing that does stand out the most, though, is Verlander. Oakland Athletics is 155. That would go against the date numerology, and the date numerology has been good right now, so that's the conflict. But I do see an upset narrative. The games where the date numerology has not followed in recent days, it's been because there's been a good pitcher riddle. The thing is, Tanner Rourke, there's reasons to believe he could lose as well. So, again, to go back over the games, there's a caller who really likes the Indians to sweep the Yankees. It would be in the numbers. It's possible. They'd get to 37 away wins. Yankees is 37. The Yankees would stay on 47 home wins. Indians is 47. They'd get to 22 home losses. Sweep is 22. Sweep's also 23, and the Indians could stay on 23 away losses. It's not out of the question. I mean, Yankees are one of the best teams in baseball, and I don't think anybody swept them at home. Remember the World Series was in Cleveland this year. You had that New York riddle with the home run competition winners. It was the third baseman, Alonso, for the Mets this year. The last time the home run derby was in Cleveland, it was Tino Martinez of the Yankees. Alonso and Martinez had the same birthday. And there was something about, God, I have to go back. But I'm just thinking about Cleveland and New York, other potential riddles going on. To play devil's advocate, if the Yankees swept the Indians would get to 26 away losses. We know how big that number is with the Yankees. Yankees 26. And if the Yankees won at least one game, they'd get to 48 wins. Cleveland's 48. So, to me, the sweep of the Yankees in New York, it's not out of the question, but probably not going to happen. There wasn't any clear sign with Tanaka's record. I forget what it was with the win-loss record. I got to go back and look at that one more time. The win-loss record for this team. New York Yankees, Cleveland Indians. I want to see what it was this year. That's right. They're 1-3 versus Cleveland this year. So if the Yankees won the first two games, they could even it up at 3-3. New York's 33, Cleveland's 33. They're 1-3 right now, and they've only played one game in New York. They got whooped last night. What was the score of yesterday's game? That wasn't a clue, was it? 19-5, 24 runs. 19 the 8th prime. All right. We saw that this guy's pitching 65 days after his birthday, that New York Yankees number. Tanaka could improve to 9-6 like 96, which has the mathematical relationship with 42. Tanaka's 42, NYC's 42. Yeah, I personally, I'm not crazy about this Indians-Yankees game. If the Indians only won one in this series, they'd get to one more, I should say. If they only won one more, they'd get to 74 wins. New York Yankees, 74. All right, but Brewers-Nationals, I do like this game. Hauser can become 5-6. Washington, D.C.'s 56. Patrick Corbin can become 10-5. Nationals is 105. Brewers with a loss would stay on 63 wins and 27 away wins, just like the date numerology. So that makes some sense to me. The Cubs-Pirates game, you can make riddles for both pitchers here. So I think this one's a little bit dangerous. Again, Cubs is 9. Hendricks could be 9-9, or Joe Musgrove could get his 9th win of the season. And if I remember right, Hendricks with a loss. Come back and see what that note was. If Hendricks lost, he would be 4-7 versus the Pirates. Pirates is 47. So tricky one. I do believe the Phillies will win this series. I would take the Phillies to win the series. They'll get to 65 wins. The series concludes on a 65 date numerology. San Diego Padres is 65. Philadelphia is 65. So that's the bet I would make on this Padres-Phillies series. Phillies to win the series. The chance that the Phillies lose tonight is through the date numerology. They could get that 27th home loss on the 27 date. But I do like that these two teams have the overlap with 65, a big Philadelphia number, so perfect team to get the 65th win against. And unfortunately with the pitchers, it's hard to make a call. Velasquez comes in 4-7, San Diego's 47. You know, I guess I could say that the Phillies got World Series tributes the last two games ever since the shooting. If Velasquez won, he'd be 5-7. Remember, the shooter's name was 57. World Series is 57. Last night they beat their opponent 5-7. So, but the chance of the Phillies staying on 63 today is again about the date numerology. You have a 63 and a 27 date numerology. Padres is 63 and 27. Phillies have won their last 3 games since they made the hitting coach switch. The Mariners and Blue Jays, we don't have a pitcher yet. If Waguespack did win, he'd be 4-1, and he's going to face LA next. LA's 41, so he could go into LA with a 4-1 record. We've seen a lot of pitchers do that this year. Without the Mariners pitcher information, it's a little bit dicey, but if Waguespack gets the W, he does go in to LA with the right numbers. Caller?
Hey, you still talking about the Phillies?
Well, I'm just doing the review, so I came back to the Phillies right now, yeah?
Yeah, right. Well, hey, tell me this. Does 99 connect to the Phillies at all, the number 99?
Not that I'm aware of.
I noticed they're coding this number 99. I'm in my vehicle, it's hard to hear. There's an article today that was put out. It was called Manual Magic. Manual Magic equals 99. It also equals 45, like Phillies. But the other day, before they swept the Braves, I noticed where they said the Phillies have a 9.9% chance to make the playoffs.
Really?
Which is kind of interesting because when you write out 99, it equals 57.
Okay.
That's why I was wondering. It's like, it seems like they're coding this 99. I didn't know if it had anything to do with the establishment, of the nation, or, Philadelphia being the original capital and all that stuff.
Well, 99 is a big number. The United States of America's 19, the 13 thing.
Right.
Yeah, maybe there's something there that I'm not aware of. But yeah, okay.
And really, if that caller calls in, I mean, he knows his code really well, but sometimes he says stuff that just doesn't make any sense, you know? I mean, how can you come on there and say, well, you know, I think the narrative is, you know, stronger than ever that it's going to be the Dodgers and the Yankees. I mean, I don't know how you can come up with that after the shit they pulled last night. And that keep coding is fucking 57 on the Phillies. I don't know how you can be so confident it's going to be the Dodgers and the Yankees. It may be. But, you know, they just don't accidentally do these things unless the Phillies are just a part of this riddle.
Well, yesterday...
The Phillies all of a sudden go away?
Yesterday when he called in, too, I was pointing out what just happened with Philadelphia, and he seemed to just shrug all that off. He liked the Cubs yesterday. I was like, well, I don't know after what you just saw last night, so...
I don't listen every day. But it was probably, you know, 4 or 5 weeks ago he was all, oh, yeah, it's Dodgers and Yankees. How you so confident of that?
Well, he likes the blackout riddle. I mean, that blackout riddle was something else, but we've seen Phillies and Yankees riddles all year alongside each other, so...
Yeah, and I get all that. I get the blackout riddle, but now it's like, you know, this narrative for the Phillies to back into this narrative. So I don't know how you could be more confident from what happened yesterday that it's, you know, the Yankees and the Dodgers. I just don't get that, man. I don't get it.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't sleep on what's going on with the Phillies.
Some of these callers that call in, you know?
Sure.
But this 99, they keep coding it, man. They keep coding it on the Phillies.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed, too, was yesterday in the box score, you know, they had 7 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error, but kind of like 7-11 or 71. You know, I think Philadelphia, Pennsylvania equals 71. Synagogue equals 71.
Uh-huh.
So they keep coding these same numbers, these biblical numbers over and over.
Right. Yeah.
It just seemed weird to me that how the Phillies could just be like a part of it, but they're not going to be there at the end, at least, you know? Or at least they don't make this playoff run. I don't think that's just going to go away with the drop of a hat. You don't get coded like that if there's not something going on, you know? That seems pretty clear to me.
Right.
And now the star player, you know, the guy that signed a $330 million contract, now all of a sudden they have changed the script. Now he's not striking out when bases are loaded. He's hitting home runs.
Right. All with the new hitting coach.
Yeah, this hitting coach, and they're coding this hitting coach around the Phillies now all of a sudden.
Right. Today's 61 days to Bryce Harper's upcoming birthday. Again, that Philadelphia magic number, so I wonder what he does today.
Yeah, I also saw manual magic also equals 63, like major league, right?
And
major
batting coach.
Is 63.
Batting coach is 63. Yesterday was a giant 63 ritual, so...
Yeah, that article just came out like a couple hours ago. I saw it.
Yeah, I see it right here. Philadelphia Inquirer.
Yeah, they keep talking, and like I said the other day, like 2 days ago, they said they had a 9.9% chance of making the playoffs. And when you write out 99, it equals 57 in the purest cipher, and they keep coding this number on the Phillies.
Well, I see 45.
Make those points. I'm not quitting on the Phillies yet, man. They're definitely a part of this. I don't know how anybody can just say, I don't think so, or it's the Dodgers, Yankees, you know. They got to put a sleeper team in there.
Right. Yeah, the Phillies would be a narrative for this closing part of the season. There's 40 games left, so.
Yeah, and all this biblical shit going on with Israel and everything, that seems like a better team to put in there than the Dodgers.
Yeah, we'll see. The Dodgers will definitely be the big favorites in the NL, so that could be like the David versus Goliath story, the Phillies beating them just like they did in 2009.
All right, Zach. I'll talk at you later, man.
All right, appreciate it.
See you, buddy.
All right, so Manual Magic 63 like Major League Baseball, also 45 like Phillies in Major League. Caller?
Hey, Zach, huge fan. Got into you when McGregor slept Aldo in 13 seconds a couple years ago. Been a fan ever since.
Cool, man. What's up?
Hey, real quick, I got a few picks I like. I don't want to go into why. I just want to run them past you and see if you agree. Cool?
Okay.
I like the Cubs. I like the Padres. I like the Nationals. I like the Tigers. I like the Cardinals. I like the Rockies. What do you think?
All right, I'm scanning them. Okay, here, let's start. Let's go one by one. Hit me with your first one. Was the first one you said Cubs?
Cubs, yeah.
Okay, so if Hendricks wins, he's 9-9. Cubs equals 9. Wrigley's 99. Illinois 99 would be a great record for a Cubs pitcher. My concern about Hendricks is if he lost today, he'd be 4-7 versus the Pirates, and Pirates is 47. And Musgrove also has a chance at his 9th win versus the Cubs. So personally, for me, that's not a game I would take. But again, I always advise people to stick with their gut feeling, their guns, their own research. So I could see the Cubs winning, but it's not one of my favorite games. What was the next one? Padres at Phillies. So the numbers look good for the Padres to win today. I got to agree. But the reason I'd be gun shy on that game is just because the Phillies have a nice narrative now going on ever since that Philadelphia shooting 2 days ago. And that's why it's time. So if the Phillies lose today, they pick up the 27th home loss on the 27 date. They stay on 63 wins on the 63 date. Padres is 63-27. Normally I'd be like, yeah, I really do like that today. I just worry that they might be on a new script now because of the news story. So, but again, stick with your guns. The riddle is there for the Phillies to lose today. I do like the Phillies to win the series, though. I like the Phillies to finish this series on 65 wins because Philadelphia is 65, so is San Diego Padres, and Sunday has 65 date numerology. Okay, next game.
Nationals.
I like the Nationals today. Corbin gets to 10-5. Nationals is 105. Hauser falls to 5-6. Washington, D.C. 56. I think that's there.
I like St. Louis Cardinals.
Cardinals. Let me go back to that game. Woo! Okay, so this one makes me anxious. Wainwright, if he lost today, he'd be 8-9. Great American Ballpark's 89, where he's pitching at, and his next game is against Milwaukee, the Brewers. I think he's definitely going to win that game against the Brewers next, unless he won today. So I'm thinking Wainwright loses today and then beats the Brewers to get to 9-9 because Brewers is 99, and he'll also get his 157th career win with his next win. 157 is the 37th prime. Milwaukee's 37. So I'm thinking that's the way it's going to go for Wainwright. Now, that said, if you really like the Cardinals today, you can stick with it because Castillo, he could also become 11-5 today, and St. Louis is 115. But at the same time, Castillo can get his 25th career win, and St. Louis is also 25. So
I like Rockies over the Marlins. What do you think?
Rockies over the Marlins. Personally, like I said earlier, I would take the Rockies to win this series. That would be my bet today because Marlins getting to 38 away losses is all but guaranteed. Colorado 38, 38th state, 38's almost always hit in a Colorado series. John Gray, he's my one concern today because if he loses, he's 10-9 and Rockies equals 109. But thinking that the Rockies are going to win 2 out of 3, that they do have the odds today. I'd rather bet them to win the series than bet today's game personally. Okay, next one.
Okay, I like the Tigers over the Rays.
Tigers over Rays. Man.
If the Tigers win today, that would be their 37th win, which is the 12th prime.
Right.
If they lost, that would be their 83rd loss, which is the 23rd prime.
Right.
Where'd it go? So the Rays, if the Rays won today, that'd be their 72nd win. That reflects today's 27-day numerology.
Right.
If the Rays lost, that would be their 52nd loss, which reflects the 25-day numerology that's also going on.
Wait. What's the 25-date numerology today?
8 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 9.
Okay, I don't normally do that as a method, but okay, some people are using that.
Well, it can get weird because of the different reflections. So I'm not fully familiar with the entire meaning behind all these individual numerological breakdowns of the date.
Well, Derek, who built that website, got real creative and invented a bunch of new date numerology methods that I've never seen anywhere. The ones that I use every single day are just the ones that I've seen in books. So some people are using those alternate methods and saying they're having success. So, I mean, if you're noticing observations there, by all means, stick with it. Well, the only thing that really stood out to me about this game is that if Charlie Morton wins, he's 14-4, and that's kind of like 144, which is a number that has a strong relationship with 44, and Detroit equals 44. And I think he pitches against Seattle next, and Seattle's another 44 opponent. So I was thinking Morton probably would become 14-4 today against Detroit.
I like that Tigers' 37th win being the 12th prime, and the Rays' 29th home loss being the 10th prime.
What's the 12-10 today?
So if the Tigers win today, that's their 37th win.
Right.
That's the 12th prime.
Where's the 12 connection today?
It's the 12th prime. I'm rolling with the primes on this. If the Tigers get their 37th win today, that is going to be the 37 is the 12th prime.
Right, I know, yeah.
So if the Rays lose today, that's their 29th home loss, 29, 10th prime.
I see, so you're just saying two prime numbers could hit on both sides of the board.
I think so.
Okay, so that's how you're doing it. Okay, well, that's an interesting thought. I'll pay attention to that. Tigers would be an awesome payout. I just like that Charlie Morton could be 14-4 versus the 44 opponent. That was the main thing that stood out to me. So.
Okay. All right, last one. Angels and White Sox.
One more thing. One more thing about that Tigers game. Daniel Norris could get his 27th career loss with Detroit today, and today does have the 27 date numerology. That was one other thing that stood out to me. Rays also equals 27. So.
So you're leaning more towards the Rays on that one?
I am leaning towards the Rays on that one. So
okay.
They don't pay anything. I mean, it'd be more fun to take the Tigers and get a huge payout. So by all means, stick to your guns. But I think the Rays will get it. Personally, is my take.
Did you do White Sox Angels yet? I'm still. I'm just catching up. I came in the middle of it, so I like to start over from the beginning. I'm only at like minute 52 of the video so far today.
Okay, so White Sox and Angels. Yesterday, the Angels beat the White Sox in a nail biter. The White Sox picked up their 35th away loss on a 35-date numerology. Today, they could get their 36th away loss on a 36-date. And if they lose today, they'll probably lose tomorrow to pick up that 37th on the 37-date because Chicago and Los Angeles both equal 37 in the most pure cipher. The upset narrative for the night White Sox today would be through Giolito. He could get his 13th win of the season, and as we know, LA's 13. But the date numerology's been really good. Well, the date numerology's been pretty good for over a week now, so it's hard to go against the date numerology, so I'm leaning Angels again today. I do like the White Sox to finish this series on 37 away losses.
Awesome, man. Hey, Zach, you really are a man of the people. I appreciate all the work you're doing, man. Keep it up. Thank you, man.
You're very welcome. All right, take care. Thanks.
Peace.
So, yeah, by all means, you guys, I mean, use your own mind, use your own research. I like how he just said, I want to compare my thoughts with yours. I think that's the way to do it. And the thought about the prime numbers on both sides, even though it doesn't go with the date, that is an interesting thought. I'm going to watch that if the Tigers win. I normally like it when it lines up with the date or the team opponent name. But, okay. So Yankees, Indians, I'm not real crazy about that game. I do like that the pitcher riddles make sense on both sides with the Nationals win. Cubs Pirates is dicey because either pitcher can get the 9 and Cubs is 9. And we saw that Hendricks could fall to 4-7 versus the Pirates. But I'm thinking Hendricks, if he doesn't win today, he probably gets a no decision. Just because it would make so much sense for a Cubs pitcher to be 9-9. The Padres do have the riddle through the date numerology to beat the Phillies today. Like I said, what I would do on this series is bet the Phillies to win the series. I mean, how do they not get to 65 wins? Both teams' names equal 65. The series ends on a 65 date. It's the biggest Philadelphia number there is. I guess to play devil's advocate, I guess the way that could be is if the Padres finish the series on 65 losses. But I think it's more about the Phillies right now with what we've been tracking with the shooting story. And it just seems like the Phillies got to finish this season strong. So exactly what we've been saying. All that has to happen is Harper has to get hot, finish strong, and the Phillies will be right there. So right now it looks like that's where it's going. ESPN's front page last night was how MLB needs more Bryce Harper moments. You know, they need more stars and storylines. They need They need viewership. And also, think about just what they've been doing with baseball this year. All of the games that are shifting late, all the late shifts, the late comebacks. Phillies could be the late comeback team deep in the season. And the same caller who called in a few moments ago, who's real passionate about Phillies, he did capture the screenshot. I need to get it to you guys. It was from a little more than a week ago now, but they put up a stat about how the Phillies had the exact same record at that point in the season that the last 2 times they went to the World Series they had as well. So it would be history repeating itself. This Mariners-Blue Jays game, we're going to have to keep an eye on who they put in here for the Mariners. Again, the Mariners came in with 36 away losses, 72 losses. Toronto's 36 and 72. Also 23 away wins. Blue Jays 23, so their record is like all Toronto Blue Jays. But Wegspec, if he won today, he would be 4-1, and he faces LA next. LA's 41. The only thing I could see going against that is Blue Jays is 23. If you use the rule for S, it is 32. But we're seeing how many pitchers, they face the opponent with the perfect record. So if Wegspec wins today, he's got the record that makes sense. The caller who goes deep with his analysis, he really likes the Orioles to upset the Red Sox today. He's got all sorts of reasons. I'd say the main reason that the Orioles could upset is just that Brooks could get to 3-6 on the 36-date numerology. He could also fall to 2-7 on the 27-date. We saw that Porcello, though, can become 11-9. Saturn's 119. So is Orioles if you use the rule for capital letters. That's a Saturn number. The Saturn numbers are huge with the Orioles. Orioles equals 93 and 42. Saturn's 93 and 42. Porcello could get his 42nd win today at Fenway over the Orioles. So that makes some sense. If you do want to take the Orioles to upset the Red Sox, another thing that could go against Porcello is he has a losing record for his career against Baltimore. He's actually struggled against the Orioles. He's 7-12 versus the Orioles for his career. So he loses almost at a rate of 2-1 against this team. And the name Rick Porcello is 137. If he lost, he'd be 7-13, 13-7 in reverse. The thing that sticks out big for me also is if the Red Sox win today, they're 9-5 versus Baltimore. We see that number played plenty with Baltimore. Baltimore's 95. Remember after Cashner got traded from the Orioles to the Red Sox, he lost facing the Orioles and he became 9-5 for the season. So Red Sox win today. They're 9-5 versus Baltimore. Baltimore 95. If they lost on Saturday, where we've seen the Orioles do work, they'd be 9-6, and Orioles is 96. So Red Sox do have one of their better pitchers on the mound tomorrow, though. We'll look at that. Tigers and Rays. Rays are a huge favorite. I don't even think it's worth betting on. Last caller liked the Tigers to upset. He's got his reasons. Hopefully he's right, because I imagine he's making that bet. But I see Charlie Morton getting to 14-4 personally. 144, the strong relationship with 44. Detroit equals 44. When you write out 44 as a word, it's 144. So Rays can also get the 72nd win on the 27-date numerology reflections of each other. And Daniel Norris can get his 27th loss with the Tigers on this 27-date numerology, plus Rays equals 27. Wainwright, if he loses today, he'll be 8-9. Great American Ballpark, where he's pitching, is 89. And his next career win is 157. That's the 37th prime. He faces Milwaukee next. Milwaukee's 37. So Milwaukee would be the perfect team to get the 157th career win against. If he lost today and beat Milwaukee in the next game, he'd be 9-9. Brewers is also 99. So that makes some sense to me. Castillo, if he wins today, he gets his 25th career win. St. Louis is 25. The one problem is, if Castillo lost, he'd be 11-5. 11's the 5th prime number, and St. Louis is also 115. So I think it's a little bit dangerous personally, just because it's right there. But like I said earlier in the live stream, there's been a lot of riddles I really liked this year because they were 11-5 versus St. Louis and they didn't come through. So in my head, my head's going, Zach, you've seen how many times the 115 riddles haven't played with St. Louis this year, even though it seems like they should. I don't exactly know what's up with that. But you can make an argument for Castillo with the winner of the loss. To me, Wainwright becoming 8-9 at the ballpark, that's got a lot of rhyme and reason to it, especially with looking down the road at his next game and how that win could make so much sense against Milwaukee. Cardinals are on 63 wins. Cardinals equals 63 date numerology. Reds on 63 losses. Both teams could stay on the 63 as well today if the Reds won. Dodgers and Braves. If Maeda loses, he'll be 8-9. Atlanta Braves is 89. The Dodgers would get their 27th away loss on the 27 date numerology. Maeda could also get his 36th career loss on a 36 date. That all looks good, but then you look at the Braves and you go, ooh, but they can get their 27th home loss as well. Soroka could fall to 10-3 like 103 the 27th prime, and he faces the Marlins next, and Marlins is 103. So if Soroka got a no decision today, he could also lose to the Marlins and become 103. Or he could go in there with the perfect record. Soroka, his narrative to win is to become 6-3 at SunTrust, where he's pitching, because today has 63 date numerology. So it's tight. Mike Minor with a win today. He would improve to 12-6. Globe Life Park in Arlington equals 126. Odorizzi with a loss would be 13-6. Prime number relationships. If the Twins lost today, they'd stay on 37 away wins and they'd slide into tomorrow, the date with 37 date numerology, still on 37. And notice if the Rangers won today and tomorrow, they could get their 37th home win on the 37 date. Rangers equals 37. So you could have a double 37 tribute in the records if the Rangers win today and tomorrow. That's what it would take. And if the Twins only won one game, they'd get to 74 wins. Texas Rangers is 74. So perhaps that win would come Sunday, the date with 38 numerology. Minnesota's 38. They could get their 38th away win on that day. So perhaps this series is perfect with the date numerology. Of course, the Rangers would have a chance at 38 on Sunday as well, but I think it would get broken there. So I think good chance Twins only win one of the next 3 games. And I'm liking the narrative for now, as long as it exists, doing the 37-37 thing by tomorrow, the 37 day. Okay, the Mets and the Royals. Syndergaard, if he lost, would be 8-6. Kansas City Royals is 86. If he won, however, he'd be 9-5. Kansas City Royals is 59, the reflection of 95. And if Syndergaard wins and becomes 9-5, he faces the Cleveland Indians next. Cleveland Indians is 95. So his record would be perfect for his next opponent and would make some sense with a win today. But there is the risk of him falling to 8-6. We know that 86 plays just like the 59 does with the Royals. Montgomery with the loss would be 1-4, and it seems like that's been Kansas City's number as of late. 14 here, 14 there, because K plus C is 11 plus 3, 14. Montgomery will also face Baltimore next. Baltimore's 41, so his record would be the reflection of 41 to face Baltimore next. This Rockies-Marlins series, I would take the Rockies to win the series. I don't see how the Marlins don't get that 38th away loss in Colorado. Again, Colorado 38, 38th state. Colorado Rockies 163, the 38th prime. Florida also equals 38. The Marlins are obviously from Florida. So, Rockies to win the series is the bet I would do. My concern about John Gray today is that if he lost, he'd be 10-9 because Rockies is 109. At the same time, Gray can get his 43rd career win today. Colorado's 43, Florida's 43. Alcantara can also get his 14th career loss, 43 the 14th prime. But I think the safer move is Rockies to win the series. Of course, you got to wait a few days to get your result, but, well, you could know by tomorrow. If the Rockies won today and tomorrow, you'd be there. But I I do like them picking up that 38th loss. Giants and D-backs, it's Friday night. You know, it's hard to doubt the Giants on a Friday night. If Mike Leake did lose tonight, he would get his 97th career loss, the 25th prime. Giants is 25, SF is 25. But Leake can also get the 103rd win, the 27th prime on the 27 date. Leake will face the Rockies next. Rockies is 109. If he won tonight, he would be 10-9 for the season. This only shows his stats with Diamondbacks since he got traded. Right now, he's 9-9 for the year. Arizona Diamondbacks 99. So if he wins, he'd be 10-9. He will face the Rockies next. Samardzija is 4-5 versus the D-backs. With a loss, he'd be 4-6. The Diamondbacks do play in Phoenix 46. If he won, he'd be 5-5, kind of like the square root of 25. And good chance Samardzija gets a no decision though tonight because he plays at Wrigley next. Wrigley's 99, just like how he's 9-9 for the season. And he's really bounced back because he's been, you know, the Giants have been playing better as of late. He had a substantial losing record earlier this year, so he's had a little streak going. And maybe we should actually look at that real quick. Jeff Samardzija, ESPN game log. Yeah, so see, lately his team's been winning when he's been on the mound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So his team's won 6 of his last 8 decisions. If he lost tonight, they would have won 6 of their last 9. So 6-3 today. He does have the 63 day. Something to keep an eye on. So, tight one. The Angels did give the White Sox their 35th away loss yesterday on the 35-date numerology. If they give them the 36th loss today, 36th date. If they give them the 37th loss tomorrow, 37-date. Remember, Chicago's 37, so is Los Angeles. Right now, I'm leaning towards that being the direction of things. Giolito would be the best reason for the White Sox to win tonight just because he could get his 13th career win versus LA. LA's 13th. Giolito, though, has not been pitching as well as of late. He got off to a really great start this year. He's lost, I think, his last few decisions. We can even look at him real quick. Lucas Giolito, game log, ESPN. I think he was 12-2 at one point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. His team has lost 5 of his last 7 starts. Five of 8. Angels 58. But yeah, the date numerology prevailed yesterday, so it's hard to go against it today. So I'm still leaning with the date numerology. And if the White Sox do lose today, I think they'll definitely be done for tomorrow. Because again, both teams connect to 37. Tomorrow's the 37 date. I really do like the White Sox to finish on 37 away losses. So if the White Sox won today, I'd imagine they lose Saturday and Sunday to get to 37. I think that overlap number should hit. And then potential upset is the A's beating the Astros today because Verlander can become 15-5. Oakland Athletics is 155. Verlander would fall to 8-5 at Oakland, the reflection of 5-8. Oakland's 58. Verlander's 14-6 versus Oakland for his career. If he lost, he would be 14-7. Houston Astros is 147. But let me check something real quick. Make sure I'm not missing a connection to 33 or something. Oh, that's funny that he's 14-6 against him right now because Athletics is 146. Okay. So there's definitely an upset narrative there. If the Athletics win one more in the series, they'll get to 70 wins, and Astros is 70. So they're at 38 home wins. Astros is 38 if they stayed there. But Astros, you know, they've given up some games recently they probably shouldn't have. So Tanner Roark, what he has going against him today is he could get his 63rd career loss on the 63-date numerology. And I'm going to leave it there, you guys. I will post all these notes in the description of this video. I have to go to a meeting. I got to hurry. I got to be there soon. My goal is to get a website built that's going to help people link up and share more information, sports related and everything else. So just try to get the lines of communication flowing better than they are right now. And so I'll keep you posted on that. But I'm supposed to be there at 1 o'clock, and it's about a 15-minute drive. So let me wrap this up. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. And I will update the golf tournament post tonight once that concludes. So good luck, everybody. Remember to be selective. There's a couple games on the board that look pretty good today. Again, what we're trying to do is find at least the 2 best games each day. Not be greedy. Just stick to what looks good. So we'll leave it there. Until next time.